podcast where we're nerds, and I'm Billy.
Oh, fuck it. I'm the Podmeister Logan. King of the boat, king of the beef broth.
And I'm Captain Rob.
King of the Robs. Fucking, so that was a different intro. That was Billy trying to do our intro for the first time. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. Most of us do. I don't know. Steve, you bring a lot of stuff? Me and Rob brought a lot of stuff.
I brought a lot of stuff.
Billy brought, a thing.
I have stuff. I don't have a lot of stuff, but I think it's stuff I want to talk about a lot.
Okay, I'm excited. We missed a couple of weeks now, so we're going to be playing some catch-up. So some of our news will be older. Was it Obamacare's fault?
It was all my fault. I had that stomach bug, and no one could go on without me.
It could have been Obamacare.
It was Obamacare.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
Son of a bitch.
All right, so let's start...
And snow, I guess.
And snow. Let's start with technology. Rob, you got any technology stuff? I got a lot.
No, not
I never
really
offer a technology to you, Steve, because you never bring a lot of technology stuff, mostly movies and the good stuff that you're good at.
A lot of good phone stuff coming out. I'm excited about the LG Flex. That's kind of cool.
I have played with it extensively. It has really, really good specs, but the screen is kind of garbage.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a 720 screen, which is an interesting choice for it. And at that size, 720 does not scale well.
I think I'm actually going to switch from HTC. My last 4 phones have been HTC phones.
Yeah?
And I'm looking at the LG Pro 2.
Oh, God, the G2 1 is amazing.
Yeah.
But is it the G Pro that you're looking at?
The G Pro 2. Yeah.
Oh, I know some of these letters and numbers.
Yeah. The LG G Pro was LG's kind of answer to the Samsung Note and the other bigger kind of phones. It's a 5.7-inch phone. It was the start of LG doing this thing that they've been doing, which is really, really cool. They basically release a phone out that's as good as Samsung's best phone and then cut the price in half so that they always excel. Samsung's the Galaxy, or I'm sorry, the Note, the first Note that competed with the Note 2.
Yeah.
The Note 2 came out at $300 and it came out at $100, $150 for that one, and then now it's down to $50 for just the regular G Pro, but it's kind of dated now comparatively. The LG G2, the Android phone that I have, that I kind of am in love with as far as Android goes, it was spec for spec matched the Note 3, which is the most powerful Android phone out right now, except it has the same processor, but it's clocked higher, so it is a better phone overall. And it's $100 versus the Note 3's $300.
And the G Pro 2 is going to be believe the larger screen, but all the specs of the G2. Like it's even got the
I hope it's more powerful than that, though.
I think it is, actually. With the back buttons and everything like that.
The Galaxy S5 rumored in coming out, it had better be more powerful than the G Pro.
If the specs are legit on what I've seen leaked on the Android subreddit,
the S5?
It's not going to be a noticeable upgrade from the 4.
No.
But
I'm also looking... it also kind of depends on HTC. They have the... they're calling it like the M2, maybe, I think is what the word, like the code word for it. It's pretty much going to be HTC 1, 2.
Yeah, the one that comes out next month, supposedly.
Yeah.
The 1, 2. I was like, I guess it'd be the 2. That's what I just was trying to think of when I was thinking, what would that new one be called? The current phone, his phone is the HTC 1, so the second one, I guess, is the 2.
I'm an HTC fanboy. I mean, their phones have just gotten better and better. And but I'm willing to look at the new LG because they've been doing some stuff right.
That G2 is fucking great.
They've made the last 3 Nexus phones.
Yeah.
Nexi.
The red Nexus 5 is out already, I believe.
Yeah, it's just a recolored one. It's not spec change. But because it's on par with the Note 3 as well. Like it's the same specs identically.
Snapdragon 800.
I think everything is the exact same. In
a lot of
cheaper
the
package
S4 is 600.
I've been hearing that the new HTC is going to have the 850.
Interesting. I'm intrigued.
What I wanted to say before I forget is the rumors now is the Nexus 10-inch tablet coming out is going to be made by HTC.
Nice.
And they're talking metal-backed front speakers, thin bezel, like everything everybody's wanted in a Nexus tablet.
It won't be made by Motorola. No. Everybody hear about that?
Yeah, they sold their mobile.
They sold Motorola.
They sold Motorola, and then they bought a bunch of fucking shares of Lenovo.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice.
But I don't they didn't really explain why, because they don't plan on their next phone is going to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be LG again. It
wouldn't surprise me.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's HTC if they do have the contract for the 10-inch.
And the reps for HTC have actually gone on record as saying from now on, I think they're going to go only metal phones. Like they said, they're never going back to plastic.
because I feel like
I wish more
garbage.
people. Yeah, I prefer metal back.
God, HTC one is a great phone. I enjoyed it.
I
I've
don't-
had it for about a year now.
I don't mind the rubberized backs, but I prefer something solid.
I'm just tired of Samsung's cheap plastic, lightweight
I
feeling.
finally got a little dent on the back.
Take a bullet. Tell people you got shot.
Yeah, I had it in my chest.
Saved your life.
But I'd be excited to see Nexus devices with the front speakers and all that. Because why don't tablets at this point?
Yeah.
Why doesn't everything at this point?
Well, I mean, I can understand phones to a degree because it's such a compact device, and the inside of those things got to be a fucking jungle gym. But
These speakers on this bastard are phenomenal. They are substantially
He
better
pointed
than
to
every
his
iPhone.
iPad?
Sorry,
Yeah.
good call. I was pointing to my ball sack. The speakers on the iPad Air are way, way better than they have ever been. And they did some wizardry I remember hearing about how they're forward
Cutting
angle
out.
and
Yeah.
all kind of weird shit, but they sound way better.
there's no reason not to just put them on the front anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, Apple's kind of, they like their simplistic shit, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me if they ever get them on the front.
What was it they said recently? It was kind of misleading, but they said they could. They don't plan on it, but they could see themselves sometime down the line making an Android Apple.
No, that's not what they're saying. No, Wozniak told them to.
It's no that was a misinterpretation of it. I actually read the full article with a quote of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he didn't say he they were going to flat out. He said that they should.
Yeah.
There's no reason they haven't. They just
It'd be
haven't
smart.
bothered. Yeah, I mean it would open the market up, and to be honest with you, if you could get some of the simplicity of Apple, like you put it, on an Android phone, it would appeal to a lot of the crowd out there that's hooked on Apple.
I just don't think it'll ever happen.
I'm afraid that they would just make it like an Android version of iOS.
And that's the problem. We'll get the Apple version of TouchWiz.
I think we
Oh.
I think that
Sorry, Samsung. Ugh.
something like that ever happened, it would, I should say, I don't think anything like that will ever happen because Apple cannot control it. And I don't mean control it in the sense that, stop people from doing all these things to it. I mean control it in the sense that
They
Android
can't lock
is...
down the environment. It's all open.
Yeah, and I mean, and beyond that, even that Android is known for pop-ups and error messages and weird little things that happen, and Apple will not stand for that shit happening on an iPhone, on
What's an
iDevice.
error message?
Yeah, I mean, just little things like null exceptions and shit like that happen on Android phones.
I haven't gotten one on my HTC One yet.
I've never seen
Nice.
one either.
Yeah. No, and trust me, I've worked in the cell phone industry for a while, and Androids do get a lot of those. But that's one thing I can say about this. It's been smooth sailing for this year that I've had it,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Rob, what's up?
I have a topic that's probably closer to being technology than any other topic. I'm not really sure where it would fall.
Dildos.
Have you guys heard anything about this tiered internet fast lane project that they're talking about?
No.
It's all over a lot of the more news and business related sides of things. What they're wanting to do is create an internet fast lane by making tiers. So there's going to be top tier, which will be things like ESPN.com, ABC.com, things that are
High
big
traffic.
corporation, high traffic things that will be
Netflix.
willing to pay AT&T, Comcast, whoever is providing you with your internet. And then those will be theoretically faster. I'm not really seeing any evidence that would make that faster.
You can throttle.
But what happens is the second tier things will be data capped hard. So
It sounds like
things
the
like
end of net
our
neutrality.
our website would all of a sudden become extremely laggy. It would be really hard to get to. It would be really prone to other problems in the name of making big corporation footprints on the internet a lot faster and a lot more easily accessible.
That would be the worst.
And a lot of people are upset about it because, I mean, in our community, a lot of that fun fan base is based around, little guys doing blogs or links through Reddit even. Reddit would probably be a first tier thing, but all your links that you're going to want to look at will not be.
If it's an Imager link, you're good.
I was gonna
If
say,
it's not, then you're
They
fucked.
better fucking support Imager in that one.
Yeah.
Well, the Imager's fucking huge.
Yeah. Imager was built and ran for the first 5 years of its life by one dude.
Really?
Yeah, it was built as an alternative because every other what you see now anyway, all those the image shack and all that shit were just so unfriendly to linking on
That
Reddit.
fucking frog, man.
God damn it. But, one dude built it and people started using it, and then they started donating for him to have more and more server capacity and things like that, and now it's run by a small team, but still very, very small overall, not a massive company like you
And it
would
makes
think.
a fortune, too.
Probably so.
That kind of ties into the whole thing about how Netflix
Good.
They're saying that Verizon has been throttling Netflix.
Oh, that's been big news lately. Yeah,
and that's kind of along the same
and they're
lines.
denying it, but
There's like evidence.
There's like people testing it, saying, "Look, this is what a link to Netflix gets, and this is what a link anywhere else gets."
There was a while ago that AT&T got in trouble for it, if I remember right. Like on my Uverse, they throttled Netflix.
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they are the devil, but I haven't heard that yet.
It was when I first got it, and I was really still heavy into using it because I was transitioning from only
You're
Netflix.
still pretty heavy. What?
Fat jokes.
Fat Jokes at a Nerd podcast. It's bread and butter around here, right, Billy? Don't eat it.
Doesn't have enough sugar on.
As a side note, it doesn't matter what happens, I'm getting Google Fiber as soon as it's in the area.
Oh, also on a side
probably.
note, happy birthday, Billy.
Happy birthday, Billy!
Happy birthday, Billy.
Tell me what you did to your hair.
The best birthday story
10
ever.
minutes.
I could have we made it 10 minutes? 11 minutes!
Oh man, I shaved
In
my
technology
head,
news,
Shavers don't always work so good.
shaved my head, and it's a combination of age on the device and the fact that the battery's probably just crapping out. Like it doesn't hold a charge; it's just done. I was in the middle of shaving my head, and I don't shave, stripes. I shave in patterns of nonsense.
Pokemon outlines and shit.
I mean, we're just talking.
Name that Pokemon!
Snubble, as seen from above.
Voltorb.
But yeah, it died, so I had to wear a hat around today.
The back of his head was not shaved, and the rest of it was. There was literally a party in the back.
There will be pictures on our website.
Oh, that was a good time.
Billy's birthday hair bash.
In hindsight, I shouldn't have shaved the swastika in my head first.
I used to always shave an inverse mohawk and left the chops, so I looked like a weird John Bopper. And
I am
then
a
I
fan.
stopped doing it because I knew this was going to happen eventually.
If he came over here like that, it would have just been the end of days.
That was probably the hardest we've laughed in a long time was when he took that hat off.
It wasn't even so much when the hat came off for me, it was when I flicked that light on and looked at the back of his head, and I just collapsed and fell to the floor. I just fell down. I was like, my body doesn't work.
He's fixed it now or else we wouldn't be able to do this.
I told him we had to do it before a podcast or we couldn't contain ourselves. Good times.
That's good stuff.
Other tech news, I got some cool things here. Corning, as in Gorilla Glass, has figured out basically how to lace their Gorilla Glass with silver to keep it antimicrobial. So now their Gorilla Glass is going to naturally resist microbes, which is not big news, but kind of cool. Good for
Little kids.
germy little kids.
They can do it to pens. They can do it to... And toilet seats. They can do it to screens.
And stuff like that further advances other areas of technology, potentially.
Well, here's the thing, is that's been known for a good long time. Corning's just figured out how to do it with both silver and aluminum, because Gorilla Glass is effectively aluminosilicate glass. It's just glass flecked with aluminum to keep it really, resistant to bending and breaking. So they figured out how to do both of them at the same time. But they've been putting silver in like glass and interfaces like that to keep
That's
it.
cool. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Apparently silver, ionized silver is somehow naturally antimicrobial for some reason. I read the technical reason why, but I don't know
Fluid to
why.
be porous or something like that.
For the
No
same
idea.
reason it hurts werewolves, I heard.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
It's very anti-lycanthropy.
Lycanthropy is a germ.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So we shoot
God,
them with silver
figured it out.
bullets.
Well, in every RPG, it's a disease.
Coincidentally, you can also kill human beings who have any disease with silver bullets.
Yeah.
See?
You just shoot them right in the head. And
Yeah.
the disease
And
will
it's
go.
gone.
Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah. Checkmate, atheists.
I knew exactly what was coming. I saw his face register.
Bad.
Don't even bring up the debate.
So no, we won't talk about the Ken Ham Bill Nye.
We can't say that it happened.
Well, I mean, it's not like we're under like an NDA. We could talk about it if we wanted to,
But
it
it's
was
not worth it.
It was painful.
I just want to mention my favorite quote. This is what Bill Nye said. There are trees on this earth older than you think the earth is.
That was fantastic. But, and then Ken Ham came back with, "You weren't around. You don't know that." That was the whole debate. Here's a really cool thing in the world of 3D printing. Boeing has, I guess historically, there was this specific part that had to go in every one of their turbines, and it said there was, I think, like the two numbers stuck in my head for some reason are 15 or 22. One of those two numbers. Like, we'll say 15 of them in every one of their turbines. So in the 4 or 8 turbines, depending on the size of the jet. they had quite a few of them, and each one of these pieces, each of the 15, required 60 separate little pieces to be welded together, and I guess it cost like something like $2,200 for each one of these things.
That just sounds grossly inefficient.
Right, so multiplied by the hundreds of them that might be in a specific plane, thousands and thousands of dollars. Well, they figured out that they basically a process to 3D print them from scratch
yes.
that are more or stronger than they were before because there's no welding involved, so they're all one unit, and they cost them about $60 to make now.
Nice.
That's
so
awesome.
A dramatic drop in cost. So what basically would have cost them, even based on that math, maybe $100,000 or so before as part of a plane. Now it's down to a couple $100.
I don't know if we've talked about it or not.
Turning into the theme of the Nerd Right podcast. 3D printers. What can't they do?
That Honda, I
That's
think,
what I was going to bring up next.
they like released all the blueprints and CAD files and stuff.
They released blueprints for
go nuts, guys.
Yeah,
Can't download a car.
That's exactly what my first thought was. Didn't I text you that or something?
Yeah. It was like
I was like, holy shit! I just thought you can't download, or you wouldn't download a car.
like,
Thank you,
watch
Honda.
me.
I feel like this is going to make me stupid, but can they print metal? Like I was under the impression it was only plastic.
Nope. They're doing it with
They
organs.
can do it with
changing
advanced proteins now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So not only can they
food,
they can print ears, they can print pizza. Like, if you can do those two things, you can make a car.
If you can print ears and pizza, you can print a car, Billy. Yeah, that's
just
science.
logic.
We're putting that quote on Rod's
tombstone. Billy logic. Case equal babies. That's a conversation I do not want to go into right now. It was a very sleepy day at Gen Con one time.
And my brain knew what was happening, but it didn't make it understandable.
I can also... that makes me excited for the fact that someone like me, who... I'm on the food thing. I'm not talking about downloading cars.
I'd do it.
Who is a picky eater. And that's part of the reason why I don't ever eat healthy, because I just don't like it.
3D printed candy, too, by the way. I thought that was really cool. Chocolate and like... Fruit Loops? Some sort of, I don't know, it looks like sour type of candy.
There's really nothing that's going to stop them in the future from making, like, healthy pizza. Like,
that's exactly
like, here's a pizza that has all the nutrients you need.
That's the exact example I used earlier today.
Because they're basically custom engineering it from scratch.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can have all the proteins and minerals and anything that you would want to have in it, and then you could probably still make it taste like a decent pizza.
They 3D printed a liver for a mouse. I saw that was pretty revolutionary.
I've seen they've done ear. They actually did like a working ear.
Livers are regenerative, so I guess that there's some property that they can use or manipulate of that to grow one with a 3D printer. I thought that was pretty cool. Another cool, or I guess not cool thing, but shitty thing in technology that happened was a guy wearing Google Glass. He had them built into his prescription glasses. Went to a movie theater and. Just some older guy just watching the movie, and suddenly had Homeland Security escorting it, ripped his glasses off his face, and pulled him out of the theater. Basically ripped his glasses off his face, shoved an ambiguous badge into his face, and pulled him out of the theater, and started questioning. Held him in interrogation for 4 hours over potentially pirating a movie. While he begged them, he was like, "Just look at look at the files on there. There's no movie, no snapshots even." He was like, "There was nothing there. Why are we going through this?" And after 4 hours, he finally convinced them to go through it, and they did. And there was naturally nothing on there.
One of our first podcasts, we were talking about that. Yeah, what's going to happen once these things are readily available to citizens, and we go about our daily life doing things like watching movies in a movie theater? There's going to have to become a point where there's enough people with Google Glass that they're just like, well, fuck it. There's nothing we're going to be able to do. We're just going to have to deal with it or find some way around it.
Or there'll be some take off your Google Glass rule or no Google Glass allowed, and you have to have
regular glasses.
Yeah, they'll say you have to have them regular. But here's what I guess at the core of this issue for me, what is the silliest is beyond his capability to record. Why the fuck is Homeland Security enforcing movie piracy?
So harsh.
That's what
this guy's not holding the screen hostage with a gun.
Yeah, shit.
I mean, that's what department they are.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is that seems like an unnecessary thing for that branch of the military or of the government to be focused on. Remember when we went to see The Dark Knight early?
No, Spider-Man.
Or Spider-Man. We saw Spider-Man early. You got tickets for it some way. I can't remember how, but we got to see it really, really early.
Go Fobo, thank you.
And
got a couple of advanced screenings to them.
We when we went there, was it IMAX? Yeah, that was an IMAX one. And the Homeland Security guys came out first and were like, "If we even suspect you have a cell phone in your hand, we will arrest you and not ask questions." I was like, oh, you kind of have to ask questions, and we were kind of like laughing about it. But he was like, cell phones are not on vibrate; they are off in your pockets. If we see a cell phone even turned off, you will be arrested. Like they were hardcore about it.
So that's
asinine. Yeah, it seemed like it was pretty silly for just... I mean, granted, I understand they want to protect it, but that seems like a lot of trouble to go through just
and it also seems like a lot of, like, manpower that the government has that is kind of aimed in the wrong direction.
Exactly right. But yeah, I just
thought
they
have their priorities straight.
Yeah.
There's wars going on, but people are downloading movies.
Better not let that happen.
You gotta protect the almighty dollar.
Yeah.
Did you see the... most of my news is technology. Holy shit, I didn't realize... Did you see the guy who lost his $50,000 YouTube name? I guess that's kind of his declaration for it. He basically the story is his YouTube handle was at the letter N. He's had it since basically the day like YouTube started. So it's just a single letter.
That.
And he's had tons and tons of people like ask him to buy it from him. Most recently, I guess somebody offered him $50,000 and he turned it down. Which why the fuck would you do that? But over a Twitter handle, but. This is a really, really long story, but what it breaks down to is one day he had his own like web. He's like a web developer and stuff, so he had his own. He ran like 5 different companies' websites and shit. And one day he got an email saying that your requested YouTube password, or your Twitter password reset link or whatever. And he got them all the time as people tried to like hack his Twitter account, so he kind of ignored it. And then I guess like later in the day he started getting them from like PayPal as well. And I can't remember why, but even in the story he said he was there was a sense of urgency because PayPal was not something that normally happened from, but he remembered thinking, like, I still have access to email, there's nothing really they can do about it, even sending me all the password resets. And then he started getting him for his domain, his email, like his domain email, like at mydomainwhatever.com. So I guess a little bit after that, he decided to... I can't remember exactly how the story went down, but he tried to log into his email, and that he couldn't have it. He didn't have access to that. Then he tried to log into his PayPal, and he didn't have access to that. And then he tried to log into, or no, he still had access to his Twitter account somehow. Then I guess after a while he got an email in his domain, or somehow got an email. I can't remember the exact story because I'm messing it up now, but he got an email from the hacker who got into it. And basically said, I have access to your website, or to your web dev, whatever, your hosting platform, where all of your, he's like, custom little made websites are here, and I have access to your PayPal. I can ruin you financially. I can do all these awful things. All I want is that Twitter handle. And he was like, I guess he argued with him a little bit, and the guy was like, you release the Twitter handle, I'll release these back to you, and I'll even tell you how I did it, so you can kind of protect yourself in the future. And the guy did it because I guess he didn't want his client's websites all fucked up and him to be responsible for it. So he, as it came about, basically the guy called PayPal. First he called his domain to try to get into that, and they said that they couldn't let him into the account. He was like, oh, I forgot my password or some shit, and they wouldn't let him into it. So then he called PayPal, and PayPal let him... basically let him in as an employee I'm working with this customer, I need to get into this guy's account real quick, and they basically just gave him access to his PayPal account, gave him access to this dude's credit card number, which he then called the domain with and said, oh, well, I have my credit card I paid with, can you just do that? And I guess I guess PayPal would only give him the last 4 digits of the credit card over the phone, but the domain needed the last 6 to like verify it. So whoever he spoke to at his domain just let him keep guessing on the first 2 or those 2 digits until they got through. So he guessed basically the first 2 digits of the credit card and then the last 4, and got in. So then he got into his domain. That's how he got into all that shit. He was like, so make sure you call and do this, this, and this won't happen in the future. But that guy lost his $50,000 Twitter handle.
Documentation on this, he could press charges for millions.
Well, here's the other thing is that when he was calling like all of the PayPal and all that shit, because this guy so thoroughly locked him out, they didn't believe he was who he said he was. Like, they didn't believe the actual user was like that.
But if he has the communications from the hacker, you could take that to the FBI. And this is shit that they chase people down for national crimes for.
You would think so. I don't know what I guess the result of it was. Reddit was kind of up in arms about it, and how PayPal just basically willingly gave out the last 4 of his card number. And granted, their thing was like, it's like the last 4 of your social. You can't do anything with it except access everything that asks for just the last 4 of your social.
Yeah, which is a lot of stuff right now.
Oh, God, that just makes me mad.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. That was a gross... a domain, it's kind of like, it's super important. Of course, it's super secure, but... you lose access to that for a little while, and it can get fixed. Whatever. PayPal, that's like as the hacker guy told him, he was like, I can ruin you financially right now. And I guess he didn't. So I guess the guy is very lucky that he at least had somewhat of a kind of good-hearted scoundrel, I guess, or something. But
some sort of moral compass.
Yeah,
it was probably somebody contracted out to get it for something else.
And that's like kind of what I was saying next is that what would be like, I don't understand why he can't just contact Twitter and say, this is obviously what happened. I want my Twitter handle back and I have these emails or whatever. But I kind of laughed. I was thinking, if I was the guy who scammed him, to bring it full circle, I would then release this story as this just happened to me, so that guy would have no chance of getting it back. Like, people, you know what I mean? Like, if you start saying, look how this guy scammed me, and then, like, you're like, no, that was me, be like, that's the hacker,
But you'd have to prove your identity eventually in that chain. Like, if it blew up, you would
Not if you're just releasing it as a story, you know what I mean?
But people fucking sniff this shit out on the internet.
Yeah.
Eventually, identities would have to be proven.
True that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of nutty.
People are assholes.
Yeah, I agree. That's I was like, that's when you should have sold your domain or your not domain, but your Twitter handle for $50,000. Who would turn that? Why would you turn down $50,000 for a
name
for a Twitter handle? Then you just go make whatever. But he remade his new Twitter handle was @InIsStolen or whatever. So I thought that was kind of clever. But so that was nuts. Did you hear, Steve? I think you'll be especially interested in this. Funcom, the guys who made like Secret World.
They're done.
They're in big trouble. Go ahead.
I texted you guys about that.
Did you?
I don't remember getting a text from you about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they. God, I can't remember the details right now, but
insider trading.
Yeah, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. They shut down all their offices because they're getting accused of insider trading.
They're no accused. They're guilty of it.
It's guilty at this point, but. So they shut down all the offices.
Whatever, like the European board of like the SEC basically kicked in their doors and like shut down. These are guys who made like Secret World and Age of Conan. And a few other big MMOs. But
I can't remember what's happening to the games. They're not shutting the games down. They're doing something with them, but like as of right now, they're still up.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, because what's interesting is how could they still profit off of it if they're you know what I mean? Like,
well, they won't make the profit. The publisher will make the profit.
I wonder.
Funcom was just a developer. I don't know who the publisher of them. I even played Secret World, and I don't know.
I only played the beta of it, but I don't remember either. But I thought that was kind of crazy.
That's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
Yeah, that was. They're in big trouble for that.
Long story short, they just gave somebody a lot of money. Whoever published their games gets 100% of the profits now.
Yeah, they just basically cut themselves out of their own.
Too bad it's Secret World and Age of Conan.
Secret World still makes a lot of money because it's paid.
What if it were like fucking Blizzard or Activision?
Yeah, if it was like Activision.
I thought it was.
It's a free to play game that the only items you can buy are like experience boosts and costumes and shit like that. So
it's like the freemium kind of thing.
Sort of, but not really. Because freemium actually comes with that bad stigma of like you can buy certain things. Like League of Legends is freemium technically. And you can get better things by playing or you can buy them.
Yeah.
But as far as it goes, it's like you pay $20 and you own the game for life. So you actually... I think it's $20 now.
Yeah.
I got it when it was $30 because Josh gave it to me for something. But anyway, as far as it goes, you can pretty much access everything, and the only thing you don't get is like expansions when they release those. Those are like cheap DLCs, which is fine. You know, I mean, they got to make them. There won't be any more of them though.
They lost me when, and this is not like really like they didn't do anything wrong, but just me as a player. They when they were coming, I was in the beta, and they finally got to the point where they were like, "Hey, we want you guys to experience the story and kind of tell us what's going on. So we are now making everybody max level, and you're pretty much like invincible. So just go through and play it." And I just like powered through the entire story. Then I was like, "Well, I'm done with this game."
Yeah. No point to play this after beta.
That was fair, though, you weren't their target market.
No, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't anything they did wrong. It's just for me, I was like, all right, man,
that's
I'm done.
why a lot of games don't automatically do that anymore. Like they want you to work together.
I'm not gonna lie, if like another game that I can't talk about right now that's going on. If they
Untamed Pulsar?
Yeah. If they were to do that, it'd probably be the same situation.
Yeah.
By the time it actually came out, I'm probably like, all right, I'm good, guys. Yeah. You guys have fun.
Speaking of which, this actually just happened today. Did you hear about the big to-do about Arkham Origins, like what they did that has pissed off a ton of people?
No.
The Batman game, I guess on their forums, like one of their devs or whatever. I don't know. The way that the post is, I didn't read above that, so I don't know if it was just like in the middle of a conversation or an announcement.
Yeah.
But basically said they're no longer concerned with like some of the game-breaking bugs that are currently in place right now. They're only going to pursue DLC going forward. And like, it's just the forums caught fire. Like, it was insane after that.
As somebody who's actually gone through and I've 100% beaten every aspect of that game.
There was one game-breaking bug in it, and that was that radio tower. But
but there was a bug to fix it.
Yeah, well, yeah. That was. I don't think that there's really you could call it a bug to fix it. There was a crazy way around it, but not at all intended.
Right there.
Yeah. So, and that was like I showed you that when I found it on the internet and figured it out, and I was like, oh, I got it. But I don't know if that's still in, because I haven't played it really since then. But when we beat it long before this, but. I don't know if that's still in there or not, but people are like, there are still game-breaking, progression-stopping bugs in this game. I never really ran into that one. But, and I guess that's why people, and they just basically said, we're no longer concerned about those. We're moving forward with DLC only. And they're like, well, I'm just leaving this forum forever. Like, there's no point in me coming back here. I couldn't believe they did that. That was kind of a...
I mean, it's a shitty customer service tactic, but that's what game companies are being pushed now.
Yeah.
Like, the money's in the extra stuff.
Like, my mind, though, is if you've got developers working on the game, even if it's for DLC, they have... I mean, granted, they don't have the time. I'm not, putting words in their mouth or anything, but they have the manpower there, the resource, at least, to put them towards fixing things as well, not just... kind of barreling forward, but I think they may have inadvertently, the internet will shut that shit down. They may have killed their fucking Arkham line with that kind of attitude.
Did you guys hear about the Ubisoft fiasco?
No, tell me more.
I think it was the first...
What is happening now?
It was like the first of this month, I'm pretty sure it was.
Hang on. Did you call them Ubisoft?
That's how it's pronounced.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I could have sworn
I used to say Ubisoft until
I thought there was actually like a voice on the old 64
They might be
games.
because they're French. French would be Ubisoft.
It's they pronounce it Ubisoft.
Because it's
everything I've always heard
it's
was
Quebec
Ubisoft.
company, isn't it?
It is.
Studio?
Well, there's like 4 different divisions.
Yeah, but the main
there's
one is
Ubisoft Quebec.
Yeah.
Montreal.
Well, regardless, all of them have...
Sorry.
There was paperwork to dissolve the trademark for Watch Dogs, and it was actually finalized. So for an entire day, there was no trademark on the name Watch Dogs.
Interesting.
And then basically they...
I heard about this.
They were contacted and said, hey, your paperwork to dissolve the trademark is finalized. And they're like, whoa, about that? We never filed for that. So that means some random person found the paperwork, forged signatures, went through all of the proper, paths
channels
to do this, and it got finalized. So they're saying right now, like, what's going to happen... That got made public like immediately, and it was down for a whole day. So what's going to happen to anybody that made merchandise during that day that the trademark wasn't initiated? You could basically sell bootleg stuff and not get in trouble as long as there's some way you can say, oh yeah, it was made on February 1st or 2nd or whatever it was.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy that in this day and age that something like that can happen.
So such a like if it happened to one of us, you'd be like, oh shit, somebody's break, and you wouldn't really know. what to do,
my
but
identity's
like,
stolen. To a massive company.
You think they'd have
That's
like lawyers
crazy.
like watching that shit all the time or something?
They have like an alarm.
They have one attorney staring at a screen like with the trademark going at all times.
Automatically refresh every minute.
That's Joe the Refresher.
Before anything official came out.
I walked away for 1 minute.
I had to take a pee. I'm sorry, guys. I'm
Joe's
sorry.
head for this.
You had one job, Joe. One job.
There was actually rumors that they were going to change the title at the last minute before anything official came out. And that's
Maybe that's why they just
Maybe that's why it's
people
called
were
Watch
like,
Cats now.
I want to bring this
Proud
up.
of that.
This is it's slightly a technology
terrible.
thing, but it's Olympics things are going on right now. Brittany and I read this.
I thought you were going to say like Brittany and I are in the Olympics.
No, read this.
We got gold medals.
So I don't know the validity of this, but I think this might happen. But there were news reports that the guy that was in charge of the rings expanding, like the one that malfunctioned during the opening ceremonies. I don't know if you saw that. It was during the opening ceremonies, like, they always have the big unveiling of the Olympic rings.
Yeah.
They were like these snowflakes that like floated down, and then they expanded into and like turned into the circles. But one of the rings didn't, so it looked like 4 rings with an asterisk, and it was just kind of like the whole joke nowadays.
Yeah.
But apparently that guy was found dead.
Oh wow!
Like he was found in his hotel room, like stabbed to death.
That sounds right about for Sochi.
Yeah,
Have you
but one
seen
thing, like I
some of
said,
this shit?
oh yeah, like I said, I don't know if
Holy
somebody
shit.
made that up or not. If it's real, whoa. If not, it makes sense. But
it's totally believable with all the drama that's going on.
Yeah, that's the joke that immediately happened, though. Like, it was like, boo, like, I was texting with buddies, and I was like, whoa, that guy's dead.
Yeah.
Did you see the guy that had to break out of his hotel room?
Yeah.
He like
The
jumped through the
bobsledder?
door or whatever.
Yeah, he
His bathroom door.
slalom kicked through it.
He said he used his bobsled pushing training and just powered through the door.
What happened exactly?
He got locked in his room.
His bathroom.
Yeah,
his
and
bathroom.
he had no
bathroom?
phones or anything, so
Before
he was
his
just
event.
trapped in the bathroom right before his event for like an hour. And he was like, "Well, fuck, I got to get to the Olympics."
Yeah.
It's shit like this that will never have another Olympics in a.
Have you seen the
non-first world
pictures of the
country.
hotels and stuff?
Yeah, the water being
Yeah.
piss yellow. And
Yeah, there's like live wires just hanging all over
the
places.
shower?
Yeah, and
windows
showers.
are falling out of the hotels.
Yeah, some hotels do not have lobbies.
Did you see?
I don't know how you could build a hotel without a lobby.
I've only watched like one.
Yeah,
full
they
episode.
said you have to go to the owner's hotel room
Yeah.
to check in.
That's awesome. I've only ever watched one Saturday Night Live in like a few years, and in this one, they was talking about it was one of the weekend update things, and they were talking about the Olympics in Russia, and they had brought on this Russian woman to like she was from some small village.
God,
in
this was
Russia.
just like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
And
she's
she was
a
like-
recurring character. She's hilarious.
She was like, she said something about how she didn't know why they were having it in Russia. She was like, why would they choose Russia of all places? She was like, was random island or middle of ocean taken? It was just so funny to me. I broke down laughing. Middle of ocean? That's awesome. So that's crazy.
Yeah,
I wonder
things
if
are-
that's real or not.
Things are going horribly over there right now. Like, it's bad.
The next 100 years of Olympics are going to be in the biggest countries.
Not Russia.
This is this is the biggest example, and like I think of the fact that these places are buying their Olympic spots, especially with talk of Putin. Like, he put like $51 billion into this Olympics.
This Olympics is more expensive than every other Olympics combined.
Yeah, but because of the fact that, first of all, Sochi is a tropical location.
Yep.
It's 50 degrees there now. Like, there's palm trees outside the
Winter
arena.
Olympics right now? Or something?
Yeah, it's the Winter Olympics.
Oh.
This was totally a PR stun is the wrong word, but a political thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only reason they got it.
Yeah, like he bought his way into that because if I'm the Olympic Committee, I don't know if you guys know, but the competition, it came down to two places. It came down to tropical Sochi in Russia with palm trees and is a swamp, or Salzburg, Austria, which is one of the most gorgeous locations
Winter ski
in the world, like a ski resort.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we'll go to a tropical place. Because
That's nuts.
Putin gave us a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
$50 billion.
There was
Well, no, he put $50 billion
into
into
the city.
building the arenas, and apparently not hotels
Like
and streets.
he didn't
I guess.
actually pay pockets. He basically said, "I'm willing to spend this much money to make it this."
Purdy.
And-
Yeah.
And
still
he's
shit.
failing. He's failing. So that's
He should have started a long time ago, apparently.
They're apparently like you can't even walk on the sidewalks in a lot of places because it's so dangerous. There's like shit falling. I think they said
open manhole covers.
Yeah. What was the last count? 200 people have died so far in the construction.
Yeah, like no. Have you not seen this stuff?
I don't
we'll,
watch
we'll
any
look
of
at
it.
it.
And
It's-
fucking hockey hasn't even started yet.
Yeah,
No, the qualifications have the prelims.
yeah. Like
Everything
the,
I've seen says it starts on the 14th.
The actual they do a
the
lot
actual the actual tournament itself, but they're doing prelims to get
of
into.
the first week is basically just like preliminaries and qualifications for 90% of things.
All I really care about is 2 days from now is when curling starts.
Yep. Right now it's quarterfinals for prelims.
But
God, have you seen some of the curling teams for the women? They're
Yeah.
just hot.
Curling
great.
team for the men aren't bad either, you know what I'm saying?
the greatest
I
sport in the
don't.
man.
I know that you know that.
But oh yeah, so I'm watching the thing like the snowflake doesn't expand, and I was texting the other member of the Nerd Like Megan. I was like, fucking Russia, man. And she goes, yeah, but didn't this happen in Canada too for the Vancouver games? I said, yeah, but it wasn't.
Still cold.
It wasn't, I said it wasn't catastrophic, and nobody. I said it was cute when it happened there because everybody loves Canada, and they did everything else so perfectly. I said at this point, with so much that's gone down with these games, all this does is equally like make it further disappointing and just crazy satisfying to see Putin like fall on his face because they're calling this like Putin's Olympics, like is like the subtitle, like that would.
God,
That would be the optional title if it
that
was
dude's gonna
a
kill some
straight to
people.
DVD.
That's a scary dude.
I think he already has.
I don't want to get killed from this podcast. Let's not talk about him.
Yeah, he's a douchebag. But speaking of douchebags, did you guys hear about Candy Crush?
That was,
Oh, man.
What about it?
They-
about them
King
trademarking?
King
Yeah.
trademarked candy.
Yeah, and Saga.
Oh.
Did you hear
Yeah.
what happened in protest?
No, what happened?
A bunch of developers got together and made these single button push games. They made over 200 that used Candy Crush and Saga in the title, but it was like Violent Crush, Candy Jewels.
Candy Saga of Crushing.
Well, they didn't use all three
Oh, yeah.
words. They purposely skated around it, and they were all free apps that just flooded the market for a couple days.
Or the Flappy Bird creators.
That dude, I feel bad for him.
God,
though.
man.
I feel
What happened to
bad,
him?
but I don't understand. Yeah, he's getting harassed and all that, but it's not going to stop. It's not
Well,
going to
here's the
magically
thing.
quit once
This, the reason behind all that bullshit is because companies like IGN and a few other big review companies,
I actually watched the review.
they decided to do
they
a
really?
review of this little generic fucking
a 5-minute
phone-
review.
almost
The
like they would
simplest
do
game in
of
the
a
world.
AAA game, and then they just destroy it.
I mean, they bashed it. To the
They
ground.
talked so much shit about, and it was just a simple, and it pissed me off as somebody who's kind of a fledgling developer learning this shit, because this dude did it, if you look at his Twitter stuff and the things he's put out, he did it as somebody who just wanted to make a fun little game and kind of stretch his legs and learn how to do it and things like that, and
And it just became
whatever.
a huge game.
And then, it became really, really popular. And he started
You guys
making
are
a lot
talking
of
about
money.
the Flappy
Bird.
Yeah.
And he started making a lot of money from it, and then all this flack starts happening. He's getting death threats and hate mail, and people
of how hard
threatening
it
his
is?
family and shit because they're fucking crazy. And it's absolutely nuts that he's taking down, or I guess he has now taken down his game. It's gone. Flappy Bird is gone.
Really?
Because
Yeah, you can't download
of these fucking shitty companies like IGN and then later Kotaku or Kotaku.
Fair, I made
I said
$500,000.
And he made a ton of money in it. But that's the thing is that wasn't
As an artist,
his
that
goal.
sucks that you have to take your art down.
He said all this has done is just ruined his simple life. That was
Yeah.
his words. He said, "This has ruined my simple little life."
Yeah, he basically just goes on to say how he didn't want to talk to media people, and he didn't want it to be at all a big thing. It was just supposed to be a fun little goofy game. That he even has parts of it where he just kind of was homaging other games. People talked about how the pipes in it looked like Mario and things like that.
That's straight rip of the art of Mario. There's no argument.
Yeah, and that's what it wasn't at all in the same genre of game. So I guess it's not
No.
really a breaking the rule, but. Yeah, I think it's complete horseshit that they kind of force. And I fully blame 100% IGN for what's happened to this dude and all the fucking trouble he's caused because they acted like they just thought it'd be cute to give him a full-on AAA game review and destroy it, comparing it to those games.
It would have been different if they would have released the review and then played it up as just a fun little
Like a
thing.
spoof or
Or
something.
at the end, they're like, "Just kidding. This is a fun little game. We've had a lot of fun with it."
No, they tore it to the ground.
No, that's what I'm saying. If they would have done that, I would have been like, "Yeah."
we'll pull it up so you can watch the review afterwards. It just made me
Oh no,
angry.
I understand that, but I'm saying I would have been even okay if at the end they're like, "We're just kidding. We understand this is a simple game. It's fun. We had a lot of good times playing it. It's a little frustrating, but that's the point. We
Yeah.
give it 3 stars."
I give it a 2 out of 5, I think.
Those guys have never played Super Meat Boy. So you want frustrating on open your veins levels. That's what Meat Boy does. So this is an interesting thing. Did you hear Nintendo CEO Iwata cuts his own salary in half because
Yeah.
of Nintendo's failure?
I thought you were going to say cuts his liver.
Cuts
It was
himself
I commit
over.
seppuku.
He, it's a nice gesture, but in the end, it's fucking meaningless. Doesn't mean anything. But
I wouldn't say it's meaningless. Cutting his salary in half?
absolutely meaningless. He's worth fucking billions of dollars now. He could say I made no money this year, and he's worth tons and tons
He
of
could
money.
have, but
I couldn't buy that one car.
Yeah,
That's going to absolve a good chunk of cost.
I'm going to have a 40-foot pool instead of an 80-foot pool.
yeah.
I don't know, he's
So
already got
it was, like I said, it's an interesting gesture, but it ultimately doesn't mean
Did you hear
anything.
what else he said, though?
What?
He's not opposed to licensing Nintendo IPs now.
Oh, not only that, they posted officially that they're looking for mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah.
And with their it was just with their IP though. It wasn't with their.
I heard
with
that
their
it was
hardware,
their
though.
it was their whole entire company
As
was
far as
looking
I
for
know, the
mergers and
hardware is
acquisition because
still locked
someone
up.
was saying that
That's-
it would be interesting if Disney was going to
They own
merge or
everything. Let's
acquire
do that.
Nintendo. Well, and what they were talking about
It's
is
working so far.
think-
They've improved almost.
Think about
everything.
this: if Nintendo quote unquote merged with Disney, Disney would have the ownership of their Nintendo's exclusive things like Mario and Zelda. We could get Pixar Legend of Zelda. We could get Pixar Mario.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know if I could handle it if Link spoke.
Yeah, I'm kind of there too.
What if he went the entire movie like that?
Yeah,
I don't know if I could watch that.
yeah.
I don't watch Zelda for the cutscenes. I'm not gonna
That's what,
lie.
like, even when Cal's watching the Super Mario Brothers on the
With
on
the
Netflix.
surfer Link.
Yeah, when they
Whoa, princess!
yeah, I hate it
Super
every
Mario
time
Brothers
that comes
Super
up.
Show.
Yeah, the Super
With
Show.
Captain Lou.
Every
Yeah,
time-
Captain Lou, like a boss.
Every time it cuts to that fucking Zelda commercial, and Link sounds just like that. Easy, princess. I'm like, oh god, I can't take this
hurts.
shit. But
there's
Cal loves it
actually-
because of that. He always like, I've been playing A Link to the Past because that was on Nintendo on the Wii U anyway. You can buy it for $1.99 the other day, so I was like, sold. That's a quick $2, and you can play it on the control, which is awesome. So I bought that and I've been playing it. And he loves watching me play it for some reason. That doesn't seem like a very good third-party game to watch somebody play, but he's
All
so fucking
Zeldas are
into
good
it.
Third party.
He's just like, play Zelda, Dad, play Zelda. Or he says play Link, so he's a genius. But
But what? Okay, so a live or a computer-generated like Link style thing would be a no-no, but a computer-generated Mario, I mean, he talks, so
Yeah.
wouldn't that be cool?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even.
I'd like to see a Pixar Donkey Kong movie. Donkey Kong Country movie would be
That
awesome.
could be entertaining because
Mario
they
would
had
kick that Donkey Kong
personalities
right
that
in
were
his
very
cocky dong.
individual, very.
yeah,
I know. I love the conspiracy theories that Cranky is actually the original Donkey Kong and all that.
I'm gonna probably buy a tropical country, whatever the fuck
I still
this
need to
new one
play
is.
the Returns.
Yeah.
I haven't even bothered playing that.
Cranky's whatever. What is it like? Cranky's Revenge or some shit like
What
that.
if they did Cars 3 Mario Kart?
I fucking hate Cars.
As soon as you say Cars, my brain just goes.
because it ruins all of good things.
Yeah, I hated the Cars series so
Yeah, I
much. I
did
don't even
too.
let Cal watch it.
Trish wants to do Gage's party in Cars, and it pissed me off. And she didn't understand.
Ugh, fuck that.
Cars
all
is
that
worse
business.
than Hitler.
Seriously.
Have you? Did you guys see what? And for all the shit we give Elder Scrolls Online, I'll give them this. They're one of their pre-order bonuses. I thought was kind of cool. Not really worth freaking out about, but a nice little perk. That if one of the pre-order bonuses you could do is you could play as an Imperial, which
Yeah,
is one of the
which
races,
Oh, yeah,
and you
yeah.
can play it in any faction and play. I think it's any faction.
It's-
You can play any class.
Yeah.
Not just a pre-order bonus. It's if you get the collector's edition.
Or that's what I meant. Yeah, it was a collector's edition bonus.
The problem is the plan now is that's the only way to get that,
The Imperial.
and that is pay to win essentially.
If they make it so that collector's edition is always available, then I'm still okay.
Now
with
they
it, though.
might do it, but they
Because,
might-
well, hold on a minute. That's not at all pay to win. There's literally
Well,
no
in that
perk
game,
from it other than
the
just
races have perks in that game.
yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah,
But I don't
I don't
know
think his
what the
perks would
Imperials
break
will
the
be.
game, though, would it?
racial bonuses have broken many an MMO. So.
Unless they make it so that's true. But unless they make it so that it's a perk that is not related to something. I mean, something simple.
If it was but the problem is even vanilla perks can end up being broken in certain situations.
Even if- I mean,
All I'm
it could
saying
be
is
some-
I've never played an Imperial ever in any
Who
of their
did?
things ever.
it could be something as simple
I'm
as
like
like
a
mount
lord in
speed
this
plus
bitch.
3% or
Yeah.
something like that. But who knows?
yeah.
Because I mean, they were mounted combat guys in the lore anyway, so that would actually just made that up off the top of my head, but that would work out well.
And that's fine, but it doesn't go with the flavor of the other ones. We can't talk about them, but
Yeah, I think that stuff's open, isn't it? Isn't that public knowledge that
I
they?
think it's still under NDA.
You guys can whisper it to me, and then I can say it because I'm not under NDA.
I'm pretty sure it's still under NDA.
If we're no longer playing it, are we still under the NDA?
Yeah, until they say
Checkmate, legal guys. I stopped playing that weeks ago.
stop playing it 2 hours after I logged in.
Didn't we all? Also,
I mean,
microtransactions.
Nothing.
That was they're doing.
Yeah, they're going to have a
microtransactions.
subscription with microtransactions.
I think, oh, that's bull.
Don't get me wrong. WoW does it great. Like, they figured out the system for microtransactions on a paid... Because all they let you buy are shitty little mini pads and mounts.
Supposedly, their mini transactions are all just going to be flavor stuff anyway. Nothing.
I can't believe that, even for a little bit, from the sounds of this company.
Can you buy hats?
That's Team Fortress.
Yeah.
The
You can buy vests, though.
Whoa! In what game can you buy
That's
vests?
my vest.
if
I'm
we
gonna
told
buy
Rob
it.
you could buy vests in ESO, we just lost him in WildStar.
Yeah, I'm gone from WildStar.
I can see
Call me
Rob's
when
like, look
WildStar
at
gets
my
vest."
Argonian with this vest. I'm playing Rango.
Rob's character, Rango Unchained.
Nice. Well done.
Wow.
So that was interesting. Interesting news. What? Oh, the WildStar video came out. The WildStar mount customization video. Did you guys watch that one? The Death
No.
Speaks. I watched it just because that's not any territory that we've gotten into in closed beta at all, and these are all things that I can talk about because it was in the Dev Speaks video. I didn't realize there was as much customization with mounts as there actually is. Did you?
Now
Can
that
you make
it's-
them orange?
Well, you could do Okay.
That's all I
First
care
off,
about.
I actually knew
Can
about
they
this,
be
I just-
orange?
I just couldn't bring it up before because
No.
I've seen it on the forums.
Yeah.
But as far as it goes, you can actually your mounts aren't just reskins if they're different. Like you can your profession or your path will unlock accessories and stuff like that. And one of the ones was you take this basic dinosaur looking mount and you basically turned it into a cyborg dinosaur with a top hat and shit.
That's orange?
Yes, colors are easy to change. Jesus Christ.
That's all I wanted. Nobody answered me.
I didn't know if you could or not, so I wasn't answering that part. But I know, 'cause
It's in the plans. I don't know if it's
I want to
implemented
take a
now.
hoverboard and put a picture of me on it. Can I do that?
They're more worried about making them individual and less just colors because colors.
The
is what every
hoverboard
game
they
does.
show in the video looks pretty. The hoverboard, it goes from being just basically a flat skateboard without wheels, basically,
the straight Back to the Future one.
to full on fucking jet
So
turbines
it's
on the
got
back and
power.
a big fin and all kinds of stuff.
They
It
all
was
have
crazy.
power.
Nice.
They had one of them that was like a velociraptor
It's the
wearing a
floating
top
thing
hat.
that you can't move anywhere. Get off my mount. I can't move.
There was
It's my
a
balance game.
velociraptor in a tuxedo and a top hat as somebody's mount, and he was like, "This is my." He said something in the dev speak about. This is my mount that I use for fancy occasions. He was just galloped up on it.
Yeah,
It
it's
looked
really
so
slow.
fun.
Benson, get my velociraptor. I need to go to the gala.
I thought that was pretty great. So overall, yeah, it looks pretty great.
It's going to be interesting. There,
Call me when you could put photos of stuff. You can upload
skin it
photos.
with your own
I
photo.
want to put a picture of me going, hey! and then put that on my hoverboard.
I still want vests.
I ruined Rob. I'm sorry.
Medics have vests, Rob.
And medics is what I was wanting anyway, so that's.
I think it's what I'm going to play now because I'm changing up what I was going to do.
Oh, supposedly, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I didn't realize I
He
even wrote
was
this
already done
down.
with his sentence. he had talked for 5 seconds.
Sorry, I was deep in thought about this, but supposedly there's a rumor that this Friday Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to start PC pre-orders, which makes me excited.
I read something that was coming soon, but I didn't know anything official. So
It was a
it's just
rumor,
still.
so yeah, it's not official at all yet. So we'll see.
Okay.
Speaking of dates with video games, Pokebank is out.
Yeah, I heard about that. I haven't got to
They
use it or anything.
Drug their feet.
What?
So
What?
It was
Yeah.
supposed to be out in Christmas, right?
Yeah, it was
What
supposed
is
to come out the week before.
Pokebank.
Pokebank, basically cloud Pokemon storage.
Yeah, it allows you to have, I don't even know how many Pokemon slots, but a lot of them. And they're in a free thing right now until the 14th of March.
And
You
then
can
it's
just
like, what,
sign up for
$5
it. And
a
then it's
year or
$5 a
something?
year, $4.99 a
Which
year.
is not a bad price.
But the cool thing is, if you get in
that
on this
official thing?
demo thing, but if you get in on this demo thing, if you go download it to your DS and put a Pokemon in it and leave, and then start a Pokemon X or Y, you get, I think it's a Celebi.
Ooh.
And there's actually a reason for it, in the lore. They explain it as you're going through the Pokemon Bank information thing and all that.
Cool.
So yeah, it's pretty neat. So even if you're not
historically, you haven't been able to get a Celebi yet, have you?
You have, but it was only in
It was one event, wasn't it?
one event for
Celebi time.
Damn it, Emerald.
Celebration.
Wasn't Emerald.
I tried
It
so
was-
hard.
What was his
Proud to
original
be
gen?
Celebi.
Which it was
Was he Gen 3 or 2?
3.
3.
I'm pretty sure it was 3.
Because it wasn't 4.
Yeah, it was 3.
So he would have been with not Ruby and Sapphire. What was the one after Ruby and Sapphire? No.
There's
Polka dot.
gold, silver, and then
Yeah,
there's
Ruby and Sapphire. I was
yeah.
right. So he was
Rainbow.
with Emerald that he had the
Yeah.
event. Man, I can't believe I remember that.
Sparkles.
Oh wait, I guess it was Gen 2.
But one thing that a lot of
Yeah,
people are
it's just-
talking about on the internet with this is that it's got a filter that will lock out Pokemon that have illegal moves, illegal
Good.
levels, or illegal
Yeah.
shinies. But any other hack you can think of, it doesn't block. And apparently there's a lot of other kind of hacks and mods you can have on your Pokemon that don't fall into that category. So there's a shit ton of hacked and modded Pokemon somehow.
There's probably some things that they really don't have a way of
That's not true.
Checking
I don't know if-
anyway.
I
Do
don't
they
know if
have
you
a
know how
mod for inappropriate names?
They do have that,
Actually,
yeah.
the awesome thing
Damn
is,
it, because mine's called Oh Shit It. So it's always oh shit it used to tackle.
the cool thing is when you put any Pokemon you get through Wonder Trade and stuff like that with foreign names into the bank, it converts it to whatever you're. So
Oh.
it translates it so you don't just have.
Oh, his name was Dildo the whole time?
Doesn't it do that if you level them up too?
I don't remember it doing them. None of mine ever changed.
I'm pretty sure mine
I don't
changed
know.
when I
I
leveled
haven't
it
ever
up.
got
That might have been.
Because it does, because your DS doesn't know what its name would be. The new name would be in Japanese because I don't have a Japanese.
You mean
DS.
evolved?
That's what I said, didn't I?
You said leveled up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant.
I was like, mine never changed leveling up. Evolve makes sense.
Yeah, evolve.
Because
the name would change and then it defaults to whatever its default name is in your region.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's like
way to bring science into it, Logan.
The only downside to Pokebank, and I'm sure this will change eventually, is you can't let the Pokemon transfer with a held item.
That is weird. I didn't even think about that.
That's the biggest.
Certain items don't carry across gens, so that would kind of make sense.
Well, the only gen it goes between is 5 and 6, and as far as that goes, most of the shit you get in Pokebank isn't going to go back anyway because it's. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say most of it, but a good chunk of it is new stuff.
Can't. Didn't they say there's a way to get with anything from like black, white, all that?
Well, you have to push it forward. Yeah. There's ways to push everything up to Gen 5. It's just there's no way to get it to X and Y until Pokebank.
Interesting.
So now you can have every single Pokemon since the very first Pokemon some way or another. It's kind of complicated. But
there's 4 Pokemon that you don't actually have to complete your national dex now. Because they are event-only Pokemon, and they were one-time event, like, super impossible to get now. Like, people want 6 IV, shiny, perfect, like, 1 in 2.78 billion odds Pokemon of hatching. Something crazy.
I've got 6.
6 Pokemon.
They're all Pikachus.
When I saw this game, I actually thought of Rob immediately. Have you guys heard of this game called Murdered Soul Suspect?
No, I'm in.
As soon as I saw it, for some reason, I thought, he's wearing a vest. That's why I saw it. That's why I thought of Rob. I swear I'm not making this up.
I was like, what's the game about?
I kept thinking, why does this make me think of why Rob would like this? So basically, the premise of this game, they just kind of announced it and then showed some gameplay mechanics of it. But basically, it's modern day. You play as a cop who gets killed in the line of duty. And he's got like a sleeve tattoo, and he's wearing like a... He's wearing like a dress shirt with his sleeves rolled up, and he's got like a vest on. But what's really cool is that his character, like on his back, where like the bullet holes hit him, that's like of all of his characters, it's always kind of like a specter. Those are glowing orange, the bullet holes all the time. So that looked kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool.
But the premise is you're basically a ghost going through the whole game solving crimes as a detective, but you can't interact with the real world in a way like like you pick up shit or any of that kind of stuff. You can like possess people. But you can't like possess them, like walk around, shoot and stuff. You can possess them, and then basically once you're in their head, like in one of the things they show, there's a cop interrogating a witness to a thing, and they're kind of like on the sidelines of the crime scene or whatever, and she's like struggling and crying and stuff and breaking down a lot, and the cop's like, "Please, I just need the answers, whatever." So he can possess her. And then basically do this like kind of brain puzzle to get her to relax and bring the memories out so that she can start talking about them and not like keep freaking out.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
It looks pretty crazy. And then there's like every now and again he'll encounter like a massive demon in like a house, and you got no weapons. There's no spectral combat. You just get away. Like that's what he's like talking to this little girl ghost or whatever, and she like turns around and her face is missing, and she slowly like stretches into this giant. And he's like, uh-oh. He like just turns around and backs out. This is more
like a modern take on like Fatal Frame, kind of.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head. It totally changed.
Sort of.
It totally
like,
changes.
There were some situations you could do absolutely nothing in, but like
this is like Amnesia.
Yeah, kind of like Amnesia, but it's not supposed to be as scary. What is it? Something about
Machine for Pigs.
Machine for Pigs.
I made it 25 minutes in before I turned it off.
Yeah. I heard that Outlast. Also, that was you talking about that, wasn't it? Yeah,
that's also terrifying.
Not Brittany. Tiffany texted me. Was like, "Hey, I tried Outlast for PS4 because that was the free game this month."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Yeah, how'd you like it?" She was like, "No, I turned that off immediately." It's like it was really scary.
Terrifying.
She was like, "It creeped me the fuck out." But
it's scary.
No, after this pod, and even our listeners here, look up Murdered Soul Suspect, because I've only heard about this once, and it was on the Xbox One subreddit. It's an Xbox One game.
It is an Xbox One game, so it's going to have vest effects?
It looked like it had vest, and he was wearing like a leather vest, if memories are
correct. Have you not heard about Tress effects? Like, that's like a big internet joke now, is whenever a game comes out for the Xbox, like, does it have Tress effects? Because they had to re-release Tomb Raider with the new hair engine or whatever, and that's called Tress Effects. So it was a joke. If you guys would have known about Tress Effects, my Vest Effects joke might have been a little funnier.
It would have been.
The Kinect will actually look at you and customize his vest based on what you're wearing.
Based on your vest that you're currently wearing. That was Rob.
Just like Rob
was like salivating and shit.
He got so excited. He was like,
I wanted to say something, but no words came out.
His brain was like, "That's the best thing, Rob."
He wanted to talk, but all the blood was in his penis, so he couldn't think.
Here's the real question: if it did that, would it change depending on what vest I'm currently wearing, or would my character be locked into the vest that I was wearing at
He'd be locked into that vest.
Yeah, man, that's such a decision for you.
Then I would have to I'd have to look in my closet and be like, what the fuck vest do I want to be stuck with for the rest of my life?
You got to think about the back of it, because you're not going to see the front of it.
Oh, that's true. I'm not going to see the front of it. This one's
talking
ripped.
about the vest he wears as the character.
And the character.
I want to get into some movie stuff if that's
go for it.
I have one movie and 2 TVs.
Let's just get the elephant in the room out of the way. Let's talk about Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, please.
Yeah, I don't know why that's not on my list of things to talk about.
I'm for it at this point.
Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready to
you
see
sold
what
me on
happens.
Batfleck. Sell me on Eisenberg. Go.
Because I think they're going to change the idea of Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Because you hated this already.
Yeah, I've already talked to you guys about this already,
this.
but I don't know if you were paying attention because you always forget.
I don't. So just let's go.
Lex Luthor, as he is in the comic book, does not exist anymore nowadays. We do not have tycoons. We do not have titans of industry. We have Mark Zuckerbergs. We have Bill Gates. We have nerds running this country. They are our billionaires. They are ruining it. Or running it. Ooh, Freudian slip. They are running,
He is ruining
They
it.
are running our world. We don't have captains of industry anymore. So why wouldn't the head of LexCorp,
be a nerd?
Be a nerd?
I do have one thing I want to say. In our world, we also don't have superheroes or zombies.
But nonetheless,
it's just an element of the world as it is now that they're trying to implement. And I get where Steve's getting at.
Yeah, I get it too. But
if you go back to the old comics of that kind of age and look at them, they were trying to emulate certain aspects of society to make them fit. And
like the Mandarin.
And you can't. Yeah. And you
I
can't
was just being a dick to Billy.
And I'm going to go back to saying we don't have superheroes in our world. But think about it. If we did, if Superman existed in this world, and someone like Mark Zuckerberg or even Bill Gates, who is a nerd, he was a scrawny nerd. If he saw Superman, wouldn't he be like, "I'm going to throw all my money into either killing that guy or becoming that guy"?
Yeah. And here's the thing: is I don't mind if we do a kind of a scrawny nerdy guy. That would be okay. But
and
my
who's
issue,
to say he's not going to put on a little weight?
and that's fine. That's not the point of my discussion. My thing that I am hung up about is that when I hear Jesse Eisenberg talk and the way that his personality that's conducive to a wiener. It's not somebody that
did
that
you
I'm
watch
afraid
the Social
of.
Network?
I did, and there's a couple parts where he sounds kind of demanding and things, but in the end, he's still he's nobody I would ever be afraid of, and that's kind of my thing. Is that Lex needs to be somebody I'm afraid of. So I
was having a conversation with my buddy Kevin Smith, and he brought up a good point. There's one line that Jesse Eisenberg says in that Social Network movie that could be construed as a very Lex Luthor line. When someone says, "Are you even paying attention to me?" and he says, "I'm giving you the exact amount of attention that I will allot for you to be taking up of my mind," or something like that.
It's in that scene where he's dealing with the fucking twins, and I can't whose name is that?
I can't remember.
Dinkelberg. What's his name?
Dinkelberg!
Winklevoss. I was so close. I was like Dinkelberg. Dinkelvoss.
But at the same time, though, I know that's kind of everybody's impression of Jesse Eisenberg. But maybe that's just how he's been typecast because he did that so well in the first
and every other movies.
No, but I'm saying, in the first one that he became famous for, they were like, okay, well, we need it because every role he's been in since then was that guy. He hasn't played that other person.
That's what I said.
How are we to know that when he he goes out on the red carpets? And he plays up being Jesse Eisenberg because that's how everybody knows who.
When he's playing Michael Cera.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say.
But he's playing that up. Who's to say that he doesn't go home and he's just
he puts on a leather jacket and fucks bitches.
He's just a relaxed, relaxed, blah blah blah. And the other thing that's bugging me is everybody's like, he's too young. He's He's like 4 months older than Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I don't. That's not my complaint at all. I'm not getting the vibe yet. Maybe they can sell it.
The scene that Rob's talking about from Social Network is the closest thing that I can see him doing in as Lex Luthor, and it's kind of he's looking out a window, and the guy's like, "Are you paying attention to me?" and all that. Because somebody said even on the thread where it was announced on Reddit that after you sent the thing, I went and looked it up, and they were like, that's the scene that you should think about. And even in that, it's just I think I sent it to you in a text message that somebody put in there that what they need to do for this to really work is get away from those Eisenberg mannerisms where he's stuttering and that kind of thing, because that's not whether they want to change up who Lex Luthor is, if they want to make him a nerdy little guy and that kind of thing, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with that, but I will be okay with that.
Don't make him commanding.
But at least, exactly, give him a presence. Don't make him like a stuttery little like corner guy who's all...
And I agree 100%. If they get away from that, then awesome. If they try to play Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor as we know him, it's going to be a huge disaster.
Yeah.
But if they change the concept and they stay faithful to the idea of Lex Luthor, I'm 100% on board. As long as he's bald.
I'm worried about Eisenberg bald though too. At the same, that's like I was like I want him to be bald, but I don't want Eisenberg to be bald.
Some people have photoshopped it, and it's not horrible.
Yeah. I saw some of this. He looked like Dr. Evil, though. Was kind of the problem with all the Photoshops.
Hey, you know what? But I don't know. I'm on board. You know, it's
like I said in that text message. I'm
cautiously optimistic right now.
I changed. I won't say I changed my mind because I haven't changed my mind yet because there's no story to change your mind about. But I am taking it as I do the New 52 line. How. I do it for the stories and how I will kind of stay optimistic because as long as they tell me a cool story and that's something that keeps me interested in that captures my imagination, I'll be okay with it. But if they do something that's so wildly kind of perverse just to be different, that will turn me off to it. If it's like, look how crazy Jesse Eisenberg is as Lex Luthor, then I'll be pissed off about it.
No,
but
yeah.
If it's if they use him to tell me an awesome story, then fuck it, I'm sold.
Yeah, I'm good. So once again, it all comes down to, I mean, they could ruin it.
But also Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
Yes, yeah, and that's awesome. We called that one.
Yeah, no shit, we nailed that one. That was fantastic.
So I think that was the oldest bit of casting news since we've been gone. Let's go to the newest bit of casting news.
Hit me with it.
They officially announced that Paul Bettany will be playing the Vision in Avengers 2.
I wanted him to be Constantine.
Yeah, that's all I could think.
Yeah.
He has to be Constantine to me.
I mean,
that's cool.
That?
I don't know enough about Vision to really comment either way.
He is an android who was created by Ultron. And he starts off bad, and they convert him to good.
I remember him in the old video game.
Yeah,
he's like can go.
He was all white.
Or something.
That was weird.
In the old video game.
Not.
He looked kind of like the comic rendition of what I remember Archangel looked.
Kind of like not at all.
No, he was like he had like a cape, and that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
But I forgot. I guess that I'm in a room with comic book people. He looked like a Moon Knight, but with like a more off-white kind of pearl-colored outfit than silver or white.
Paint job.
Yeah.
But no, he's like green and red. It was weird. But no, he's got the soul of Wonder Man in him.
Explain.
Who the fuck
I
is
don't
Wonder
know.
Man? I don't know.
Oh, you know what Wonder Man is? Okay. Well, he's a
not
superhero.
Marvel, so.
But I don't know the exact details of how he got it. That's older stuff, and I have slept since then. But he ends up marrying Scarlet Witch. He kind of...
It doesn't get any more improbable than that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. In the comic books...
He's got a Krillin syndrome going on.
Yeah. In the comic books, he kind of proves that, he has a soul and he has feelings and stuff like that. So, but yeah, he can go... he can change his density just like Martian Manhunter.
Nice.
So he can use that to, walk on air like Kitty Pryde or whatever. But, he's also a robot, so he's got super strength and he's got, laser eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he's pretty cool. He's a cool character. And it makes sense in the Marvel world how the way that they're playing it Ultron in Avengers 2 is instead of Hank Pym creating him, it's going to be Tony Stark is going to create him.
Do we have an inkling as to why? What's Ultron? Why is he created? What's his purpose?
Well, at this point in the universe, Iron Man has nothing.
I mean in Marvel world. What's
he was just created to be, Hank Pym's little assistant guy, but he created him so well that he became...
is he in my head when I hear Ultron? I think like a giant for some reason.
Yeah, you think Galactus?
I think like fucking Power Rangers, like Megazords for some reason. Why am I thinking?
Ultron,
well, that's Voltron.
Yeah,
that's why.
Ultron was
that's a mix-up.
He was created by Hank Pym, but then he gained self-awareness and started improving upon himself. The robot nightmare. That's Ultron.
So what are his powers in the
name it? He's like he'll just create it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, today I want super speed, so I've upgraded myself.
He's a single Borg, essentially.
Yeah. But he created the Vision, so if
I've been called a Vision.
yes, so,
Actually, Wasp called him a Vision. That's how he got his name.
Oh, interesting.
so
Chef Rob, taking my thunder.
if Ultron is going to be Tony Stark's creation, and then he creates Vision, which is in turn an offshoot of Stark technology, why would he not be inhabited by Jarvis?
Yeah.
Because Paul Bettany is the voice of Jarvis.
That's fantastic. I didn't think about that.
Yep, transitive properties or something.
Thanks,
So,
Rob. What if it's Butterfingers from Iron Man? Like he makes a body for Butterfingers. His little robot, that keeps fucking shit up. That one who sprays him with the fire extinguisher.
Is that the robot's nickname?
yeah, he's always like, hey, it's Butterfingers and Dummy.
Yeah,
Dummy.
Dummy, I remember. I don't
At this point in the universe, that's all he has.
Yeah.
Like, all the suits are ruined. So, I mean, my guess is Ultron's going to be like him, to the next step.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to go horrible.
That was the only thing I really didn't like about Iron Man 3 is how easy all the
Lost
suits were destroyed.
everything.
I don't mind that. I mean, I get that they're doing like the restart and all that. I don't mind the story aspect of it as much as I didn't like how all of his suits were just like melted in half instantly over and over and over. And it really kind of devalued his power entirely and what he's capable of.
I don't think it was meant to devalue their power as much as it was supposed to ultra value the extremis power.
I keep forgetting that word, extremis, yeah.
Yeah. But, so, I'm excited for that. Vision is, he's got a long, rich history with the Avengers. He debuted, I believe, in the 60s.
Yeah, I remember.
So, I mean, he's been around,
Yeah,
he's
he
been
was
around almost
originally-
as long
yeah.
as the Avengers.
Yeah, he was originally in the
Cap,
Golden Era.
Hawkeye, Vision, and who else is in the... Remember the old game? Cap, Hawkeye...
Nightcrawler, Wolverine.
Iron
No,
Man?
that was
it's
the
somebody who
X-Men
shoots
arcade.
beams. Was it Iron Man?
It might have been.
October 1968 in Avengers number 57.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know the game you're talking about, but
The red cover.
there were a couple
Behold
of
the power of the Vision.
Yeah, that's
There were a
his
couple of
Silver
X-Men
Age
in that
appearance.
There was only 4 characters in that game.
But then he was around during the
you're thinking of
40s
the X-Men arcade.
while they were still called Timely, but he was kind of different. So
I believe in that game, I remember there's Captain America, Vision, Hawkeye, and I want to say Iron Man, because there's somebody who did this and
It
shot
might have been
beams,
Iron
and that
Man.
would
The
have been
game is
Iron
called
Man.
Captain America and the Avengers is what it was called.
That game?
I looked this up like 3 weeks ago and I can't remember why.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Other news, I don't know if this one snuck past you guys or not. I haven't talked to you about it yet. AMC has officially announced that they are creating a Preacher television show.
Yeah.
Seth
Rogen
is like producing and writing it. Like, at first I was like, oh no.
I know that I am in the minority, but I fucking hate those books.
Yeah. Oh no, they're gonna ruin this because it's just such a dark situation. Story.
Really just overly dark.
In that same article that I was reading about it, there is an interview with Garth Ennis, that created
Ennis.
it. And he like said he gave his blessing. He said Seth and Evan know exactly what they're talking about. They're huge fans of the work. I have 100% faith in them.
who's going to play Arseface?
They haven't announced any casting yet.
Oh,
but
that's all I want to know.
speaking of that, American Gods has Second Life.
Yeah.
I actually found, because Neil Gaiman posted a blog about the whole update with that, and I actually kind of got the rundown on what has been happening.
I'm just
And Billy, you do deserve a little bit of credit from what we were talking about. It was pretty much shut down. HBO had the rights for it. They went through like 3 or 4 different scripts for the pilot. They couldn't agree on one that they liked. It wasn't it was a fairly amicable split, but the contract ran up, the rights on it.
Yeah.
And they were just we can't make this happen. So then because of that...
I'm glad they didn't try to rush and put bullshit together then. That's usually what happens.
So then because of that, they also lost Tom Hanks' production company because he's got exclusivity rights with HBO. Or I guess maybe HBO has exclusivity rights with his company, so it's just kind of been lost. But they just...
Playtone or whatever?
Yeah, Playtone. But one of the people from Playtone, who was a huge part of the American Gods production and getting that started, went over to Fremantle Entertainment, I believe it's Fremantle, and she rallied that, and so Fremantle picked up American Gods. That's about as far as we got right now. Everything I'm reading is saying expect it to kind of move a little fast.
That book lends itself so well to episodic story.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like Dresden. The Dresden books, because they're all cases, that lends itself so well to just movies, I think.
Movies, yes. TV shows, no.
Well, I think you just have a bad taste in your mouth for the one. But
it's just not... It's too fast at certain points in the book to fit into TV shows. It just doesn't work.
I think if they stretched it out to make the books like a book a few episodes long and things like that. Or make them like
if they weren't afraid to do the to be continued shit.
Yeah,
like I mean, to give a good example, the first season of True Blood did a pretty good job of dragging a book out over a season.
From what I understand, True Blood is pretty much the Dresden Files from the vampires' perspective, right?
No,
I mean, it's all like there's fairies and there's magic and there's that kind of shit.
It's urban fantasy.
Yeah, it's the concept, but it's not. Yeah,
it's long story short. There's a female protagonist with no powers whatsoever, really.
She can read minds.
She can hear thoughts, but not from vampires. So it does her no good most of the time. The world's like overrun by. Excuse me. She can't read thoughts of vampires and other supernaturals, I think.
Yeah.
So it doesn't help in most cases, unless there's like a regular average guy fucking around with vampires.
She's like, hold on a minute, there's a normal person nearby.
Yeah.
And he's thinking of boobs again.
Yes. And the story actually...
Is she like Counselor Choi, where she's completely pointless? She's just like, someone is here, I sense...
No, she can read their thoughts.
It originally started
she actually
off...
has legit powers?
Like she could hear like...
Because Choi sucks in the beginning.
The series actually was originally called The Southern Vampire Mysteries. And it was essentially like... The vampires weren't necessarily the bad guys. Like the first book, the premise is it's people like kidnapping vampires and draining them for their blood to sell as drugs. Because vampire blood, when drank by somebody else, is kind of like a narcotic.
Interesting.
And it started off as a cool concept, and it got okay. Like I read 12 or 13 of them. I can't remember.
That's a lot of them
to
read
for
to have gotten okay.
Well, it did the... No.
40, 47 of those
books. Yeah, it got good after about the 7th.
It started off okay. It picked up and really hit its stride around book 3 or 4, and then it petered off so hard around 8 or 9. Like, I lost interest almost completely, but I just did it because I was like, fuck, I'm this far in. I want to see the series end.
That's where you just kind of hunkered down and raced for the finish.
In my opinion, it did what a lot of female authors do in urban fantasy and became vampire porn.
Slut book. Lady porn.
Like, they ruin characters when they start doing that. Like, you completely...
Like Anita Blake.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It took that turn, in my opinion.
Anita
a lot
Blake
of women
took
have
that
tried.
turn hard.
And the TV show doesn't even try to care. Like, they're like, fucking...
Well, they're not even close. Like, they did the first season, and then, like, then it was like, now it's a completely different thing.
They did the first season as the first book. The second season had lots of references to the second and third book. And then the third season... And fourth season referenced like books 5 and 6 plots, but not at all like followed them.
Yeah,
like you got.
They had a character with the same name, but it doing something completely different.
You got the general synopsis, but not the story.
General synopsis.
Oh, thank you. How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
So yeah, American Gods can be coming back, which I'm excited about because that's my favorite book of all time. Couple Marvel announcements. Everybody knows that Marvel's been doing their. Stuff in phases, they've been calling them, all to be capped off by... Each phase is capped off by the Avengers. I don't think they made it like the super official, but it's pretty much done deal at this point that they had that the first movie of Phase 3. This is exciting news for me, and hopefully it's going to end up being exciting news for everybody.
Where does Phase 2 end?
Avengers 2.
Avengers 2, right?
Yeah.
It's after Phase 1.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Rob, you're cynical as hell tonight.
I know, I don't know what's going on.
That's why I said each phase is capped off by Avengers.
My brain's going slow.
But at this point, it's believed that the first movie of Phase 3 is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy 2! I'm really excited about that.
Masturbation!
Because that is... they're putting a lot into it, because everything that everybody's seen so far, they're saying it's freaking spectacular. Like, they've invested all this into the movie. They've got like I think a cartoon coming out. Like they're seeing really, really big things from Guardians of the Galaxy. So
plus Rocket Raccoon, bitches.
Rocket Raccoon, man, he sells it on its own. He's awesome.
So many people are hating on that too. I see so many comments on the internet that it's just like, what the fuck is Guardians of the Galaxy and why has nobody ever heard of it? And I'm like, people that follow Marvel Comics have heard of it. And they're like, but it's got a fucking raccoon in it. Just because he's from fucking space doesn't make him cool.
I tell you what, once the trailers start hitting, because I don't know if you guys have seen the Comic-Con footage that's kind of leaked. I might play it for you guys.
I've seen screenshots of it that are like potato
I saw
quality.
their lineup when they're lined up like in a prison.
I'll show you guys the little Comic-Con footage that leaked, but I think once trailers hit and everything, people are going to be like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's going to make them swallow their words.
That's it. I've got nothing against any superhero movies that get made. I have zero interest in it at all. Not like in a negative way. I really just have no interest in it at all.
Well, like we're saying, I think once the trailers come in, I think it'll get people a little bit more excited, so they can kind of see the visual representation of what we're talking about.
I mean, and I'll say in defense of people who really like it, I also had zero interest in Dresden once upon a time, so I'm sure I'll eat my words eventually. But I don't know anything about it. I don't like Steve said, you should read the comic and stuff. It's just one of those things where it's such a weighted thing where I'm just like, I don't really want to read that at all. I'm somehow I have this mental block where I just don't really care about it at all.
Kind of frustrating.
I do that with things, so I can't give you shit.
But
I do that with a lot of things actually.
So Quicksilver, by the way, we saw that screenshot. That was one of the things I had to talk about.
Not even a screenshot. He's on the cover of the Entertainment Weekly cover.
Oh man,
what did I describe him as?
He's really great. Something about Spy Kids, wasn't it?
No, somebody else said Spy Kids, but I said
he's like a '90s rave kid that had a love child with a Silver Surfer.
I said he looked like he was drawn by Rob Liefeld because of all his
pouches. Yeah, all these things.
And he totally looks.
You saw it, and you're
looking
staring blankly at. You know what the picture we're talking about, right?
I'm just so sad. I just don't have things to say.
I don't know the character, but is the character gay in the comics?
No,
he looks super gay. That's funny thing is that there's a porn parody already out about it that has Quicksilver in it, and his costume looks better in the porno than it does on the.
Man, those ones that I can't remember. Vivid, I think, is doing the parodies.
A porn parody of.
They do really good costumes for those.
Yeah, that's because it's all about taking them off. Fucking no, it's and the I've only seen the screenshots from the thing. I haven't actually watched the porno yet, but but it's like Quicksilver, that classic speedster pose where he's facing the camera, and he's hunched down, and I was like, that guy looks great as Quicksilver, and I looked around, I was like, huh, it was just so
if only
mad.
I could share this.
I just was so frustrated that I couldn't fix this in any way. I was like, you play him over here in that costume. It was almost like a Tron-esque costume, but not Tron. That's bad. It had like speed lines down the side of it. You know what I mean? How
I'm on it. Hold on. I found an article called "The Porno Version of Quicksilver Looks Better Than the."
Right.
Yeah, I'm sold.
That's
shit. Yeah, I
can't see it from there.
That's fantastic.
I was like, that's a pretty great costume for a Quicksilver porno.
So that kind of leads really well, actually, into a couple bits of Captain America 2 news. First off, the new trailer, awesome. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, it was pretty great.
For anybody who is maybe that are into the Marvel films, really looking forward to Avengers, stuff like that, but for some reason was thinking about possibly passing up Captain America 2, don't. Because they've gone out and said Captain America 2 has huge ramifications for Avengers 2. The Avengers 2 story begins pretty much in Captain America.
That's because Captain America is fucking awesome.
I don't know Marvel continuity or story at all, obviously, but there were parts of the trailer that made me wonder if to avoid spoilers for people who may not know, that the Winter Soldier and Captain America looked like they were working together in a couple scenes.
I didn't really get that, but I wasn't.
Well, if anybody that knows the comics at this point,
well, that's the.
I don't want. It could be a movie kind of reveal, so maybe.
That's why I'm trying to skate it, just in case.
You know what I mean? Because
I'm not going to name names. And I'm going to say this takes place.
Named names.
This takes place several years after the Winter Soldier originally came out. But when everybody knows, because this was huge in the news, so I'm not spoiling anything. When Captain America died, the Winter Soldier became Captain America. That's as far as I'm going to be able to say.
Spoilers, he's back. Captain America's back.
Yes. He never actually technically died.
Yeah. It's like Superman.
Yeah.
They skated that
He got stuck in time.
And Batman, too. Batman didn't technically die for Batman R.I.P.
It's...
That was terrible.
if anybody knows, God, I feel like everybody would know who the Winter Soldier is too, because they made a huge deal about that.
But
I don't think so.
They broke one of the rules. I think we've actually discussed that.
I had a line out of the comic book store for the entire strip mall when they announced that on the news. So
like
it's
you said,
mainstream. It's not just comic people.
I'll say though, through every preview, they've almost completely kept his face hidden.
Yes.
So let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
Yet.
That's the reason I'm trying
That's
to avoid
fine.
it, because it's intentional in that trailer. They don't want you to know
every
that.
scene is like this much of his face, or like right here, or like just
Actually,
some
I
tiny
freeze
bit.
framed the new one. The new
Yeah.
trailer, I freeze framed it. There was like a second and a half where it's like, here's his face, and he's going.
But yeah,
Steve made a face.
It's Frankenstein. That's who's playing Winter Soldier.
So,
They just
and that's probably
the end
happens.
of it probably works into that and then builds into Avengers.
But okay, so where I'm going with X-Men is they've also, I guess it's pretty much been confirmed that the stinger for Captain America is we get introduced to the twins. So we're going to see Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch
Nice.
during the stinger of
I hope
Captain
they
America.
fuck in this one.
I thought when you started talking about stingers, I thought you were saying that he was going from
there's a lot of
TNA
incest
to the
going on.
Marvel universe.
But
Badoots.
That hurt. No, it's real. I wasn't just being an asshole.
I don't know.
yeah, there's
Scarlet
very
Witch
much
and
implied incest
Quicksilver's.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
in the
they're-
Ultimate version.
Yeah, they're weird.
Are you
Incestual.
serious? Like-
Yeah, it's very
Oh, yeah, that's
in
real.
the
That's a thing.
in the Ultimate Universe they did it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever implicitly spoken. Is that it's just very
Ah.
obvious.
Let me
Like I said, I could be
cover
wrong,
here.
but the Ultimate series is really all most of my Marvel kind of knowledge. Steve got me into the Ultimate Avengers and stuff, and that's I don't remember them ever saying it, but there's a lot of flirting and shit, right? And a lot of like bedroom kind of scenes where
No,
there's no
like
actual
like
fucking
the
or
like in
anything.
the Ultimate version, it's pretty much
Is
like
it?
Yeah, it's
I
said.
can't remember.
it's all but like
On
close-ups
page.
of dick and vagina. So,
like the first cover that for the Ultimates. Once again, that's the Ultimate Universe.
And for our fans, we're talking about Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. They're brother and sister, children of Magneto, and in the Ultimate Universe, they're very incesty.
are they half brother and sister? Or are they
No,
They're full on.
yeah.
They're full
So
on.
they're twins.
So are
Oh
they-
yeah, good point.
that's true.
I was like, no, why would that? Yeah.
Like the first cover of the Ultimates where they were introduced. I mean, it was that's
Very.
very incest.
And in the picture Steve's holding up, they're just kind of in a weird kind of embrace that's
coupley.
more
they're
than
standing,
Very
but she's
Donnie
almost
and Marie.
straddling, kind of.
She's got his cock right in her mouth. I don't know. It's kind of. I mean, it's very.
It was a special edition. It was a variant.
It's a variant.
So what I'm
It was a
getting
deviant.
what I'm getting at with this is after all this, talk about how horrible Quicksilver looks in Age of Apocalypse, because that's not just us. The entire world is like, what the fuck are they doing?
Jet Set Radio Future. That's what he looks like.
He's
Oh,
just in the
speaking of-
past in
No,
the
the
series.
Speaking
the
of Jet Set
game-
Radio, that makes me want to talk about something.
So I guess like Marvel is being like, all right, well, here's our version. Please don't hate us. I bet it's going to look cooler. So there's that. I've only got a couple other things. One other thing, really.
He's covered in vacuum tubes.
Yes, Team A Mama, I am Quicksilver. Somebody spent a lot of time looking through like The Rock's Instagram, and they think he might have spoiled the fact that he is Jon Stewart like 3 or 4 months ago. Because there's a photo of him with, I think, he might be one of the producers, or he has something to do with the DC, Batman, Superman, all that stuff. He's an important person. I don't know exactly who it was, but it's The Rock, and he's like, I know this guy since we were little. We played football together on the Miami.
It was Jeff Johns.
Yeah, Miami University. He's a brother of mine. I visit him all these times. We're always going to be friends.
In Brightest Day and Blackest
Well,
Night.
no, but he was like just a good description about like how he was a great person. Blah blah blah. And then it was hashtag Jon Stewart can kick Superman's ass.
Okay.
And this was from like 4 months ago. So everyone's like,
Interesting.
"Well, I think he just might have accidentally spoiled what's going to happen."
I have a huge man crush on The Rock, and he just doesn't feel right for that role for
I'm
me.
with Billy on this one.
Yeah,
I want like a more of a Michael Jai White. How
I want somebody that can be muscular but not as
not
bulky.
a tank.
Yeah,
Not huge.
he can lose weight.
he would have to lose a
He'd have to
lot.
lose a lot of muscle weight to be. I
He
think
would have
me and
to
Billy have the
cut-
same idea of Jon
He
Stewart.
would have to cut his size by at least 20%.
Have you guys seen Michael Jai White? He's not much smaller than
I've
him.
absolutely.
Yeah.
In real life, if you put those two next to each other, Rock is going to dwarf him still.
I
I
agree
wonder
with
if they
Billy
stood
on
next
this
to
one.
each other.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's something for Google.
I mean, The Rock is like 4 foot fucking wide.
I can't like in my head. I keep making him bigger and bigger. Like when he was bodybuilding for that. What was that movie he was in where he's huge really recently?
Conan?
No.
Yeah, but see, I was saying that, and then you two, it was the exact opposite thing.
He's in Hercules.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
And I was about to defend Billy, like, yes, he was, but it was Hercules in my head.
Yeah,
Same fucking person.
same oily character.
Same greasy, beautiful, strong man.
No, it was Pain and Gain.
Pain and Gain, that's what it was.
Yeah,
When he was
yeah.
as big as the house.
Fucking juiced up monster.
But yeah, and you guys, you've listened to the Fat Man on Batman with Neil Adams, and have you? Yeah,
I haven't done the Neil Adams one. No.
He says something interesting, and I text this to you guys, and this Billy will hate him for it and hate everyone because he does that. But he said that he thinks, his opinion, that the reason the Green Lantern movie failed, aside from the obvious plot holes and things like that, like the big story part, is because it couldn't appeal to the kids because that's not who they see Green Lantern as. In every cartoon version of Green Lantern, he has always been Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about that. I was like, holy fuck, it has been. From the very beginning, it's always been Jon
Stewart.
Stewart.
I'm still going to hold to the fact that they only did that so they could appease affirmative action BS. Because that's
but
the
you
only
can say
black...
it all
Neil
you
Adams
want,
made
but
that.
he's
He made that
awesome.
character because he said that he was tired of basically...
They're like, oh, the bravest people in the world are all white.
Yeah.
That's what you're
And,
telling
I mean,
me.
that's what that character in the cartoon boiled down to. I guarantee that's the only reason they ever chose him was because they wanted. And I don't hate Jon Stewart for that reason. I just don't like the character, like the personality.
Billy's like, hold on, I am not a racist, everyone.
No, it's just his personality in the comics that I've read the old stuff.
I don't hate Jon Stewart. I just hate his skin color.
Which that's an interesting thing Neil Adams says in that issue or that episode
About
of Fat Man on
the
Batman
made of
is
dark
that
brown?
when he pitched the character that he specifically had like all for the inkers and stuff like color, like the color combination, whatever color codes for it to be really really dark brown.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
He was all 0 double F. But he because I guess that in that time that all black people were made really light skinned or whatever.
Yeah.
And when they came to him and they're like, "Are you sure you specifically put in these colors for him to be
Or
like
gray.
a really dark
Yeah,
or gray?
yeah.
You really wanted him to be like dark black, basically dark brown." He was like, "Are you sure?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what black people look like. That's what color I want him to be." And he was like, "Are you sure? Well, you're going to offend people." And he was like, "No, you people have been fucking offending everyone because they've always been either like basically so light you can't tell they're black or they're gray." He was like, "You guys have been offensive for 40 goddamn years." He like freaked out about it.
Look
made
up
him
the
an
damn
interesting-
Mosaic storyline. He's charcoal in that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Mosaic. Yeah.
Don't read it, please. But
In other news, Michael
where
Jai White and The Rock have never been in the same room together. I'm learning this on Google Images.
That's not surprising. He
And besides, Michael Jai White is already in the DC universe, so it can't happen anymore.
yeah, now he's
He's Bronze Tiger.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which apparently they're saying that that's...
well,
You almost said Black Panther. didn't you?
Yes.
Damn it,
Bronze
Billy.
Tiger, Black Panther, some sort of color in a cat. Gotta be black, right?
There's some sort of word that he's like that
Is
arrow
he like
is
a
in that
Batman
universe.
or? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that
So-
took me a minute.
Oh, so how about the news I told you guys earlier?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I was
that's
going to
just
say.
all
Billy,
kinds of
I got
Yeah.
angry. Like, I don't care that they...
Tell 'em.
Okay, long story short, I was watching... Well, I was half paying attention to Arrow, and I just happened to look over because she told me Talia was going to be in this episode, supposedly, because they alluded to it being Talia the entire time up to this point. Talia al Ghul, by the way.
You put Tessa, by the way, or Tessia or something.
That's what threw me off. That's what
Yeah,
I was,
he did put
I put
something
Nissa.
completely
Nissa,
weird.
yeah.
It's Talia's sister.
Oh,
Talia's
okay.
older sister.
Does she exist in the comics?
Yes.
Okay.
We actually had to look her up because we're like...
'Cause that made me
sounds
mad.
By the way,
crazy.
I love Jon Stewart's art in the new. I really like the way he looks because he actually looks like a real black guy now,
Yeah.
and not just a generic white guy that's painted brown.
Yeah.
For the record, they kept the blocky face, like the almost sculpted type.
In a superhero comic, how dare they?
Well, I mean, if you compare it to the other Green Lanterns, they're not all sculpted.
He's
that
also
way.
a boss in Green Lantern Corps. I like him a lot. As
Anyway.
much as Billy hates it, I'm getting to like Jon Stewart more and
Man,
more.
you can
I
enjoy
like
him.
him.
I don't care.
I know I can enjoy him, Billy. You're not my real dad.
You get so
I still really like
Added
Kyle
those
Rayner,
back.
and for some reason everybody always shits on that.
because that character didn't have a whole lot of personality. He had a good story, but he did not have a whole lot of personality. I don't care.
I
what
would
it is.
argue against that.
Yeah, I think he has a lot more than
I
lot of
think
superheroes
maybe
do.
he had a chance to have
if
it,
he was that size?
but I don't think they experimented with it enough. In the writing.
Maybe it's just something about his neck. I think.
Besides his big storyline, he petered out.
His big storyline. Which one?
With all,
Ion,
like,
probably. I'd wager.
okay.
Well, he did Ion, and then
I'm not
he
counting
did-
Ion. I'm talking his original run, like when they created
Where
the
he was
character.
the sole Green Lantern.
Yeah, I think that was really what killed him. Like they didn't do enough with him because that's why they brought Hal back. He bombed. You can't tell me I'm wrong, because that's what happened.
I don't know the politics of it a little bit, but yeah, man, that's it.
Green
That's
Lantern-
it for me. That's Jon Stewart for
He's
me.
bigger than that other photo I just showed you.
But The Rock's neck is bigger than his head. That's
Yeah.
that's what makes him wrong for the role.
He's got traps on his traps.
His neck is flexing his biceps, and I don't know how that's possible.
Man, we tangented hard from Arrow.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right.
Arrow,
Let's get back to the point here.
Brown Arrow.
Nis Al Ghul is who it is instead of Talia, and as soon as she pops up on screen,
And did we say she is a real character? I've never heard of her
she
before.
is a real character. Me and Trish looked her up earlier. She's Talia's older sister, and she's very, very unimportant to the story for the most part.
She's very worthless.
Well, I mean, she's got the same kind of backdrop, just not as important to the Bat story. It's something they can use and not abuse, essentially. And she drops on screen, and you think Arrow and her are about to get into a fight, and Black Canary's by Arrow, hanging out, waiting to figure out what happens. And as soon as she pulls the mask away, she just starts making out with Black Canary. And
So what'd you do when you put your dick away?
I had to think about
He
it.
said, "Take that, Russia."
What? They don't like gays. I followed his thought.
That's the only reason why they did that.
But immediately after it happened, it went to commercial, and Trish is panicking for the remote and fast forwarding. I'm like, well, CW did what they do best with girls. Fucking everything is immediately that emotional, oh shit moment. Think about all the CW shows out there and what they aim at women. It's almost as bad, like I said, as ABC Family, which is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Oh,
True that.
they just grab that shock value and the political aspects of TV shows that are just not okay,
Yeah, very boring.
especially to men. And this is a show
Or
that
just, smart people.
well, this is a show that's aimed at both. I can accept that. I mean, you got the pretty dudes and you got the hot chicks, and
You watch it for the pretty dudes, don't you?
Sexy dog. And
these look good.
Billy's like, I like to
And
lube
it's
my
not
whole
bad,
body
no.
down and watch the
It's
show.
not
I
bad,
I create friction with the TV and just let whatever touches it masturbate me.
Here you go, remote control. Pleasure, mate.
It's like another dog.
So go ahead with your story, Billy. Stop attention.
You're doing it to me, damn it.
And then they
what
made
about
out
The Rock
more.
as Martian Manhunter.
Maybe, but not really.
Maybe more of that, because Martian Manhunter's kind of huge.
I still am saying Black Adam.
That's
Everyone
it.
says it.
That's it, because Black Adam is that size. He's got that fucking neck. That's him. That's it for me. He's got that widow's peak. Yes!
And he could do that face.
Yeah, and he's got the eyebrows. The eyebrows especially.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, Billy. Go. Go, Billy.
All right, I'm finishing the story. Long story short, I mean, that's really the end of the scene. We don't know where they're taking the characters, but there's been a long-running romantic relationship, and that's why Black Canary disappeared, or the character that plays Black Canary. They're doing a weird take on Black Canary from the way I've
I don't
talked
like
to Trish. They actually split Black Canary's personality between two characters,
Okay.
two sisters. And, yeah. One of them's the super...
One is actually, what's her face?
Dinah Lance.
Yeah, and then the
Dinah
other one
Lance.
is Black Canary, essentially.
African American canary.
But it's a weird concept. I understand
I don't
why
like
they're doing it. They're just trying to twist it because the whole story is a little bit twisted compared to the original and the origin of Green Arrow. They get all the major points, but they still jump around.
Well, don't get it twisted.
That's not a plea that I'm copping. Birds of Prey is the comic is actually pretty great. There's actually a really I'm not going to tangent off of this for long. I'll just tell a really quick cool story
Oh,
about
that's cool. I just like your hand motion.
they
Jazz fingers.
they did this really cool kind of thing where Kurt Lance, Dinah's husband, his ability is he's basically the what was the character who could negate powers on heroes where he just turned them off when people were nearby him.
Oh,
He was like that. He's like that guy basically.
That's how they're stolen.
But he's been kind of a coma, blah, 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 blah. They go to the secret facility, a bunch of superheroes are there, bad guys and good guys. And when you're nearby him, he has this aura that makes people lose their powers. So all the villains kind of meet up with the Birds of Prey, and none of them have powers. They're it's going to be basically a street fight. And one of the guys is like, even before I got my electricity powers, I was known as the Butcher of such and such, and he pulls out this little switchblade and flips it all around. And then Strix, who's one of the Talons that they've kind of reformed now, and she goes with him. She looks at him and then slowly pulls out her giant katanas and just ka-chwing, and pulls them out. And he drops it. He's like, guards! He just starts running away screaming. I thought it was hilarious. She just looks at him kind of sideways and just pulls out both of her huge fucking Leonardo swords and just arms herself, and he freaks out and runs away. But she's actually an awesome character too, the Talon. I wouldn't have expected Strix to be a really cool, unique character. Cool stories.
I got some TV stuff, but you guys will have to pay attention because it will be on the test.
You want me to love it so bad, but I can't deal with it. Tell me.
Photoshop Rock. It's not gonna happen.
Okay, so
I think it's going to happen, so you're going to have to deal with it.
I don't have to like it.
Go, Rob.
So I've talked about it a lot before. Does everybody know what Super Sentai is by this point? It's the Japanese thing that Power Rangers is based off
Ooh, are you
of.
going to talk about the next season of it?
I am going to talk about the next season of the Japanese show, and then I'm going to talk about the next season of Power Rangers.
I thought you were going to be like, I'm going to talk
I
about
actually read
whatever
a
I'd
huge
like, Billy.
article on this,
Fuck
believe it
you.
or not.
Cool, that
because
means
I-
that somebody else is actually going to be able to contribute here in a minute.
I got whirlwinded on
For
that.
once.
Yeah, I know. I'm
That's what you
excited.
said, that somebody's
Usually,
gonna be able to talk
I
to me
know
about
because usually I'm like, so in Japanese news, and then Billy and Steve are like, "Where's my phone at? This
Well,
is
I
going to
get
get
it's
interesting."
80.
And I'm like, tell me all about it.
Okay,
Understand
so
what you're saying is the problem.
this is going to be the 38th installment in the Super Sentai series.
Jesus.
It's going to be called Resha Sentai Tokyuger. And at first,
Like how you said that, like we were good. We're like, oh, huger.
well, no, I have to say it that way because every time I look at it, it doesn't look like Tokyuger. It's spelled capital T, little O, capital Q, little G-E-R. So it's like
Tokyuger.
it's like 2 Q and then ger, but it's pronounced Tokyuger. But anyway, it's going to begin airing in Japan on February 16th, and it's going to join Kamen Rider Gaim, which is fucking amazing. I got a little bit more caught up, and it got even better. It
cheated
gets
on us.
better the more I watch. But anyway, it's going to
Orange
join.
arms.
It's going to
Okay,
join.
that's the Fruit Warriors one?
Yes, Kamen Rider Gaimua. It's going to join that on the Superhero Time programming block in Japan.
Like, you know, same things in America.
my God.
Like that.
Whoa.
Look up. Okay,
Don't
go
be
to
forgetting
YouTube.
the super huge, delicious Chinese buffet, first off.
It was just a super delicious Chinese buffet.
My bad.
Go to YouTube and look up the advertisements, the ads for Superhero Time, because the Japanese guy that does it is fucking so excited. He's like, Superhero Time! Kamen Rider Gaimua!
So any Japanese
Super
announcer
Sentai!
ever.
Yeah, I was going to
I
say.
don't know if you guys have watched Japanese Ninja Warrior. Spider Clown!
There's only two kinds of Japanese guys. There's the guys that do that, and then the guys that are like, hey, Kamen Rider.
Yeah, like the guys that sound like you've been reading legal stuff. At
Yeah.
the end.
Sorry, continue.
Anyway,
Super Sentai.
it's going to be on the Superhero Time programming block, and its theme is going to be trains, which are like the biggest thing in Japan. Like, Americans don't understand. If you go to a toy section, you know how we have like girl toys and boy toys? They have girl toys, boy toys, and then trains. There's like 4 or 5 aisles in every toy store, just different kinds of trains. So it's
Some of the best trains in the world in Japan.
yeah.
I'm going
it's
to
really
interrupt you real quickly. I just had the same reaction to that as I did to but they're fruit.
Welcome to Japanese TV, Steve.
Yeah, they gotta keep thinking of weird shit because they just churn out so many shows.
And here's something that's going to make it a lot different than a lot of the Super Sentai that we're used to.
38 is what he said, by the way.
Oh god, are there going to be 38 of them?
No.
38th season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this is the 38th one, and this is when it kind of gets switchy up from everything we know. Instead of being a color motif, it's a number motif. So the leader's not going to be the Red Ranger. He's going to be number 1 Ranger. And he's going to start off red, but he can like morph into being a Black Ranger out of nowhere. But he's still Ranger number 1.
Okay.
But are they still going
We're
to
thinking
have,
outside the box now.
Yeah.
Are they still going to
So,
have colors?
They are still going to have
assigned
colors.
to them, but they're going to be
Yeah,
the number.
but they are going to be known as their number because they can change. So I don't know if that means
Why
that
can they change is what I don't understand.
I don't really know exactly
Maybe the
that
colors will
part
represent
yet.
power levels.
Yeah,
like
I'm not sure if
powering
it's power
They're gonna go
levels
Super
or
Saiyan. Super Sentai Saiyan.
For people that are
yeah,
more
so
familiar with the Kamen Rider element, Kamen Rider
Super
tends
Sentai.
to switch depending on
No
what
one can look
he
that
needs
up.
to have at hand. So, for instance, Kamen Rider Wizard, he would start off default in fire mode, but then he could henshin into his water mode, and then he can like go corporeal and
I
go
get what
super
you're saying.
fast.
And that's
so
kinda what I
I'm
was
thinking,
is,
yeah,
like,
it's going to
maybe
be
it
some
has
kind of an
access to different
ability,
utilities
or
like-
some kind of a
like
utility.
he goes black, he can jump real high. That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
racist, right?
Well, the problem is,
Like it's a fire monster. Every one of us turn into the Blue Ranger.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be like water.
the problem is though is that once you go black,
Yeah, that's where the problem's going to be. Once you go black, you get pulled over in your train. Oh wait, no, that's not what it
there
is.
goes all of our black fans.
All
None of them.
So there's
Joke's on you. We don't have black
There's a lot of cool trailers and still frames up about it. There's not a whole ton of information other than like there's like the real quick synopsis that you can find everywhere that just talks about how there's some mystical train that's piloted by 5 magic warriors, etc., etc. Just real generic kind of stuff. But they have pictures of a lot of the monsters that they're going to fight, which look pretty neat. There's pictures of all of their costumes in a couple different alterations, and then their mechs. One thing that I'm going to say about their costumes, though, is their visor is a train track.
Yeah, they are.
And then they have like weird train track designs on their chest. But then other than that, they're extremely boring looking. And I don't know if it's like
a spandex suit.
yeah, it's just a spandex suit, and then with like the train track visor. And for people that have been watching Super Sentai, the last few of them like space pirate
detailed.
themes, like super detailed.
Wow, that's
the
bad.
Go Busters were more detailed. So this is like an extremely
Ghostbusters thing?
Go Busters.
Why didn't nobody tell me
All
that?
right, let's get to
which,
the important
which one was the Bill Murray Ranger?
American one.
All right, so
This one actually sounds cool.
all right,
Was it going to be different?
Yeah.
Power Rangers Super Mega Force just started today
their
on
second
Nickelodeon. This is the first season of Super Mega Force. The
Oh,
last
okay.
one was just
They actually
Mega
added
Force.
Super.
Yeah, now
First
it's
off,
Super Mega Force.
I should elaborate a little bit. I watched the first 2 episodes of Mega Force, and I know what I'm getting into when I watch these. And I hated it. Like, it was
couldn't get
terrible.
into it.
Like, it's not even like it's the same cheesy, campy stuff that you know you're going to watch, and it's the same reason we watch the cartoons and shit we love, which is fine.
Megazord looks horrible.
But it's just abysmal. Like, the mechanics are dumb. It makes no sense. There's no... Like, kids can't even get into it. It didn't
Yeah.
even sell toys, which is, first and foremost, the
Money
biggest.
maker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I'm always spoiled when it comes to Power Rangers here lately, just because I watched the Super Sentai series 2 years before the Power Ranger one. So I'm like, oh, cool, they're to this storyline, and then I watch it, and I'm like, you're fucking up, America, you're fucking up. But so the Super Mega Force is the adaptation of Gokaiger, which is like the fucking coolest designs ever. It's space pirates. And it features one of my favorite Rangers in a long time, which is Captain Marvelous, which shares a first name with me, if you know what I'm saying.
The first name
is Captain.
I thought you were going to go with
Title.
Captain Marvel. Like just us.
They probably could.
Captain Marvelous
That
is
piece
the
of
gay
shit
one.
Megazord.
Oh my god! That's just awful.
Yeah, it's extremely...
It's the best introduction.
Bez dispenser.
Look at that piece of shit.
It goes along with their stripped down motif, I guess.
Some would call it a train wreck.
Yes.
Well done, Billy.
But we'll see. The story might win us over. You never know.
Yeah, that's not what they're selling.
No.
But,
It's train.
something that's kind of interesting before we get into the actual Power Ranger aspect is that they're skipping the adoption of last year's Go Busters. So instead of going from Gokaiger to Go Busters to Kyoryuger, they're jumping over Go Busters, and now instead of Power Rangers being 2 years behind the Japanese, it's 1 year behind the Japanese. Because Kyoryuger isn't even over yet. It's getting ready to end here soon, and then that's when, the February 16th Tokyuger starts.
Fucking Thomas the Power Ranger.
So, but the cool thing is Kyoryuger is all dinosaur-based. So we're going back to the dinosaur themes, and it's going to be called Power Ranger Dino Charge. And
I thought we were still on Space Pirates. Is that Space Pirates now? And then we're going to
Space
Dinosaur-
Pirates. Yeah, Space Pirates is what's starting.
Which was shitty.
No, Space Pirates. It just the first episode of Space Pirates starts today.
The before Space Pirates was shitty.
Yeah, before Space Pirates was shitty, but hopefully this one should be really fucking cool because this one is Space Pirates, and then next year they're going to skip Go Busters and they're going to have a dinosaur theme.
Dinosaur.
I'm
So
excited
this
about the
year,
dinosaur business.
this year is Space
sounds cool.
Pirates. Next year is dinosaurs.
Billy's excitement about it and makes me want to tell you to tell me about Dinosaur Story. What's Billy so excited about?
Well, if
Have
Billy's
you read the
excited,
plot?
you can go with it.
The premise is a long time ago, and again, this is kind of stereotypical from what I read. And the article didn't explain why, but there were like 12 power crystals that were spread throughout like prehistoric Earth.
No, Space Pirates look awesome.
Yeah, I told you, man. The red one is Captain Marvelous, and he looks like the fucking
Captain
coolest
Marvelous.
Ranger ever. I think.
They spread out like I think it was 12 was the arbitrary number they said, and they spread them out throughout the Earth. And then eventually, what happens is sometime in present day, a bounty hunter comes hunting these space crystals, and apparently the Rangers are assembled solely to stop this bounty hunter from gathering all of them. Like, we're talking full-on anime concepts and mixed with
Nice.
dinosaurs and Power Rangers again.
Oh, that's where it's at.
And, I mean, that's an homage in and of itself to our childhood.
cool looking Power Rangers.
Did I miss anything important? I feel like I may have glossed over something. I don't remember all the details.
Most of my
Ships
knowledge
with
is
swords.
from the Japanese version, so I'm not sure how much that's gonna change. Because there's in the Japanese one, there's a little bit more involving like an invasion army that they're also trying to stop at the same time that all this other stuff is going on. But if you guys look up the mechs for that one, they all look significantly cooler. If I can get that thing to maybe...
We're talking about Space Pirates, or
No,
we're talking about Billy's orgasming over
I want to
the...
see the mechs for the
Dino
Space
Charge?
Pirates.
Yeah, Dino Charge.
And this is what they're going to look like?
Yeah, that's what Dino Charge is going to look like.
Could be. They could model them.
No, it's going to be exactly the same.
Really?
It always is.
Okay.
I like the Stegosaurus. You don't
What
see
are
that very often.
What are the mechs for the Space Pirates look like?
Boats.
Look
And
look up Gokaiger.
Ooh, their
I don't
costumes
know
are
how
pretty
to spell
boss,
that.
too.
I'm
Let
American.
me see. I haven't seen the. I just read the article.
Assuming these are the costumes, yeah?
Yeah, those are the exact
that.
costumes that'll be
The new
used.
Dino one.
Oh, I've seen those.
Fans, we are looking at costumes of Power Rangers modeled like dinosaurs, like we
I'm
are like
those
the
were
real
kinda
ones.
cool.
Look on our website. I will have a blog where I'll post a bunch of pictures so you guys can see what we're talking about here, because there's a lot of really cool stuff in the works.
See, even like the helmets and everything are throwbacks to the old stuff.
Yeah, it reminds me of the teeth and shit.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, if you remember the Red Ranger's helmet, he had little white teeth around the whole thing, and see,
Yep.
that's cool. I'm okay with this, and I'm trying to figure out what the blue one is.
Rob's so excited that
Is the blue one the
everyone's
Stegosaurus?
happy
I know this is
now.
the first time that everyone seems to actually be interested
Just-
and engaged. So
I got on the equivalent to a tornado with the web and kept clicking on it.
that's good. I'm happy.
Rob's gonna go home and like, Megan, we're fucking now!
So the blue one is a Stegosaurus.
Today's the day they've accepted me.
It's not
Don't shoot me on sex
necessarily
night.
an upgrade from Triceratops.
night.
Granted, Triceratops was my favorite dinosaur. It seems lateral.
I'm going back to the Space Pirates. I'm disappointed that only one of the Zords was a
pirate
ship.
Let me see him.
Well, these are the toys, but
Sing.
Oh man, good times. We can't sit around on a podcast and look at pictures. That's the problem.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
the problem.
Well, we've
Some
been
of those are
talking
like race
though.
cars and shit. It looks like.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but like a lot of the things in the Space Pirates, there's a lot of different like shapes that the mechs take on. And one of the other cool things about, I'm not sure how it's going to translate in the American version, but it was a big deal. It was an anniversary thing. It was the 35th it would be, because it was 3 years ago. So it was the 35th year of Super Sentai. So they were like, there's 35 generations of Super Sentai, and it shows them all lined up. Actually, I think I have the picture
I saw that photo
right here.
too just a few months ago.
And so they basically, that stretched it all to hell.
Damn it. Yeah.
Billy,
But
a phone.
but yeah, it's 35 generations of 5 or 6 Rangers. So it's just a huge field of all the Rangers that have ever been Super Sentai.
Can you guys imagine that Megazord?
Well, and then so they all combine themselves into
You mean
5
that Erector
ultimate
set?
Rangers, basically.
Nice.
So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know, because obviously there's not 35 generations of Power Rangers.
No, we've only got like
So
20,
far
don't
in the future.
20, yeah, because the 20th anniversary was last year at Gen
Yeah.
Con.
So this year will be 21st.
Yep. So and shout out to Power Rangers
We
theme
did that
song
perfectly.
for,
Like, that was pretty great.
for helping me out. I've been composing music, and then I kind of like fell down a hole of like 80s and 90s theme songs, and then I started using overdriven electric guitars instead of synths for a while, and then one song I totally ended up ripping off Power Rangers on accident, and I was like, oh, okay, that works.
No one will know.
No one will notice.
Well, they weren't gonna know. They
Yeah,
said
It's
something.
different enough.
It was
one would know
inspired
without me
by-
telling. Yeah, it was.
You
it
sampled.
was-
That's
actually
what they call
sample
it.
constantly, but
Don't do like Kanye did
Are you
the
talking
last
like
couple
music,
weeks. If
or
you
like
heard
at
about
the
that, he
grocery
got in big
store?
trouble.
By sampling,
Yes.
he just copied the entire thing.
There was a
Oh
song.
my God, have
did
you
hear
not
about
heard
that? Is, what's it called? Like something Chains or
it's called
No.
the original song is called Bound, and then Kanye's
That's what
song
it
is
is.
called Bound 2, like the number 2, as in the second version of Bound. And the entire track in the back is not even modulated. It's not changed. It's not cut. It's nothing. He just plays the song in the background.
Oh, the one with them on the
Well, he raps
goddamn
over it.
motorcycle.
Yeah, and then he just raps on top of it, and then it will randomly
Well,
like
I mean, this is
scratch
a
and go.
stretch. I would expect Jesus
baby.
to be able to do these sorts of things.
Jesus.
No, he's Jesus.
He's Jesus.
He's
Well,
a
yeah,
musical
that's,
genius at
it-
finding
But yeah,
other
the dude
people's
was just
music.
like riding down the road, and then all of a sudden he was like, "This is my song. What is my song doing on the radio? why is this guy rapping over my song? Why do I not have any money from him rapping over my song?
Yeah, that was I like the thing. I heard it. I think on Hollywood Babylon.
Kanye West.
No, I mean the one that he stole.
It's from like the 60s.
What is his
70s
name?
or something.
The Something Brothers and Ponderosa. It was like around the time when Michael Jackson blew up as like a little kid. So they were like, oh, we need to find a bunch of little black boys that sing high pitched.
That's
exactly what it was. Literally, that's all it was.
Huh.
And it was called the something like the Ponderosa Twins plus one, or I don't really remember what it's called.
Name,
but actually, the song is actually really, really cool. It's really simplistic, but it's actually really cool. But you can listen to the original song and then listen to Kanye's song. Literally identical.
This is on the heels of him doing this recently again, where he forgot to ask permission when he sampled. I can't remember the name of this one, but he forgot to ask permission, so he had to pay somebody a ton of money for whatever he sampled. This one he flat out stole and even named the title after it. And did he?
So it's not like he was like, "Oops, it was an accident. I didn't know."
Bound to, and it was
bound to owe somebody some money.
Yeah,
no shit.
But on that thing, he has like 4 other samples, and all of them are credited in the credits of that song, except for the main sample that makes up the entire background of his song.
That hurts.
So,
good luck with that one.
Boy, this is not nerd related at all.
Well, sorry,
it's music related, and
way to be a discriminatory nerd, Billy.
Yeah, me and Steve are music nerds.
I'm just saying,
keeper of the keys.
This is one of those things where we
keeper of the keys and grounds at Hogwarts.
What
else
yeah,
speaking of that, fucking Ron or Harry and Hermione.
Yeah,
that whole debacle.
J.K. Rowling flat out came out and said that she never wanted Ron and Hermione to end up.
Hermione.
I do that.
Hermione.
My brain cannot pronounce the correct way to
Hermione. She flat out said that Harry and Hermione were supposed to get together,
which is horseshit, and
but
I hate it.
She ended up not doing that.
She chose not to. The reason she said she chose not to is because she wanted to prove that it didn't have to be the main character hooking up with the main, you know what I mean, like the stereotypical formula.
Well, then Ron couldn't have fucked his sister, so that would have been
wrong.
I mean,
well, he didn't have to fuck anybody.
He needed someone to fuck. Did you look at him at Hogwarts? He was so much frustration.
He was so awkward.
Okay, but I want to draw everyone's attention to motherfucking Star Wars.
Yeah.
Luke was the main character, and he didn't end up with the girl.
Which is fine. I mean, but
formulaic... He ended up with the fucking Force. That's,
yeah.
Better than any girl.
And guess what? Harry ended up with the fucking magic.
To be fair,
and a girl.
Luke ended up with a way hotter character in the long run.
Person who's only been drawn.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Someone who's been drawn by several different artists, and there's no one definitional.
There's a very famous model that does her for everything.
I guess, but it's been drawn by a lot of different people. So
I mean, they're all pretty close.
In my mind.
Why are you cracking up, guys?
Sorry, it's another photo, but it's so perfect. It says like
so this guy that looks just like Harry Potter and Ginny Weasley's love child.
Oh, I've seen this one. Yeah,
it's basically a red-headed Harry.
That's the name of my new drink, actually.
That's crazy. I didn't know that, but I guess it kind of makes sense.
This is actually in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that exploded the internet.
Yeah, Megan got super shitty because she's never read the books or seen the movies until just now. No, she's
I thought you were
experiencing
going to say she had done it before she read that article. I am mad about something I know nothing about.
My wife
sounds like the general public.
My wife didn't know anything at all about it until here recently, and she's. I said something about how Logan had done this nerd pilgrimage, and she was like, "I should probably do one of those." And after I put my jaw and pants back in their proper positions, I was like, "Fucking yes, you need to do that."
Hang on.
So starting at the beginning of the year, we've started a nerd pilgrimage.
How did she miss this? This was her target age group. Even reading the books.
Well, her school teacher read the first 2 books to her, but that's it. She barely remembers that because that was elementary school and she didn't care.
Yeah, that's enough to get you hooked. That was the gateway drug.
I read them 4 years ago.
Yeah, I read them. I read them in the townhouse.
What the fuck
I read them I read them as it came out. I read them just before meeting.
That's it. Yeah.
I missed the first one because it came out because it was the first one started off aimed at a much younger group than us, and that's fine.
It was aimed at me.
I think you were still a little older than their target audience.
The first was in first grade.
Really? You were in first grade?
He was actually younger than the target.
I was in fucking junior high. We're not that different.
I'm looking up when the first Harry Potter book was published.
I was in 7th grade when the first one came out.
I was reading The Hobbit.
In 7th grade?
Yeah.
All right, so
I was too. They made us read it.
Let's talk about interesting stuff.
Yeah, you guys
go ahead.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I'm verklempt.
Okay, if I was born in June of '89 and Harry Potter was released in June of '97,
97.
You're in 5th grade, dude.
Yeah, 90s. The cool thing about me and Billy's age,
85.
I'm 84. But when we started school, every year that we started, that grade was that grade. First grade was 91, second grade was 92, third grade was 93, so 97 was 7th grade.
Cool.
What did you say, June of 97? Well, I guess you could probably started reading it in 7th grade.
I didn't read the first one that came out. I read the second one, which was...
It came out right after our 6th grade.
Yeah.
So I would have been in 4th grade?
It would have been 5th.
If you read it the day it came out.
Literally, the day it came out.
There's no way I was in 5th grade,
I'm
though.
positive,
Well,
man.
that's what happens.
Because the first book was clearly aimed at, like, 1st and 2nd graders. And, like, it was very simplistic, very high fantasy. I mean, it was beautifully written for what it was, and I love it still. But
That book couldn't have been aimed at 8-year-olds, 7
the first one totally was. The first one was totally read to be like in the same caliber as Phantom Tollbooth is a good example. Very high fantasy series. You can aim at kids, but adults can read.
I don't think you could aim the first Harry Potter book at 7-year-olds. I just don't see it. That's 2 years older than our sons, Billy.
I could totally get Jace to sit there and... I mean, not the whole thing in one sitting, obviously, but huge chunks of it.
You probably have
I
to
would
read
say
it
about
to him.
3 years older than that. That's where I would put it, right at probably
It's
the
in the
age of
young
the
adults
kids.
section in all the bookstores.
It is now. That series evolved.
I would put it at
yeah,
the
definitely
10-year-old,
evolved.
9-10-year-olds, which is what age Harry is when the books first started.
I'm good with
That would be my
That
guess.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, how old
But even
would I-
that's like 3rd graders.
Well, yeah.
Right, but that's still not the year after they learn how to read, Billy. It's,
Okay, I went to kindergarten knowing how to read. I'm a little exemplary.
well, exactly. That's what we're talking about exemplary children. That was not targeted towards exemplary first graders.
I don't know. Like
That's a very niche market.
it just when,
Yeah, no
the
shit.
year after
We're
that,
aiming at kids that have older sisters that taught them things.
well, the year after that book came out, they were reading it in 1st grade and 2nd grade to classes, chapters at a time, like on a regular basis.
I never got any of it in school.
Well, you were older than that, is the thing. That's
I'm still saying I had to have been 4th grade.
Are you just ignoring all the evidence that's determining?
I refute
Yeah,
logic.
did you get an
and
advanced
apply-
copy?
Hey, J.K. I don't know what her actual name is. The
Joanne.
Did you hear about her shit that happened? Like she was under
She
a
took
pseudonym?
one?
No, she released another novel under a pseudonym.
Wait. If I was born in 89,
You
90,
can't do
91,
math,
92,
just stop.
93, 94 was when I was 5. That's when I started kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
So, 96, 97. That's 2 years. Kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade.
June of 97. So you're going into the next year. And this is assuming
So
you
that's
read
3rd
it.
grade.
This is assuming you heard about the book the day it came out and read
Okay, so a year after that would be 4th grade.
it. Which is...
So that's what I'm saying. I was saying it was like 3rd or 4th grade.
What year
It
did
would
you
be.
graduate?
No idea.
You don't know what year you graduated.
No, I tested out. I was too busy doing drugs and bitches.
Oh, Rob's
What
a
year were you
hardcore
scheduled
member.
to graduate.
I really don't remember.
Well, I graduated.
I don't remember
2004.
anything from the last 2
How
years
old
of
are
my
you, Rob?
high school.
How old are you, Rob?
25.
When's your birthday?
June 1st.
So you would have been exactly 2 years behind me. You would have been scheduled
Well,
to
I mean, I'm
graduate
4 years older
2006.
than him.
2006. That's
Somewhere around
So
there.
we're 7, he probably 3rd grade, 3rd, 4th.
3rd or 4th.
You
That's
still
what I
said
keep saying.
first originally.
I did say 1st originally, but that's before I looked up the date. And then once I looked up the date, I said 3rd.
The
or
numbers
4th.
now make sense.
First
grade doesn't make sense.
suppose
Yeah,
that makes
1st
sense.
grade was a random thing before I saw the date. But once I saw the date, I said 3rd or 4th. And then everybody argued.
Nerd Wars, everyone.
This is the war this week. Oh no, we got to get Rob's war.
Yeah, we do
before
have to do
leave.
the war.
Alright.
We're going to have to cut out a
Yeah.
huge chunk of this. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm cutting out all that silent and dead air where you guys were just
That's
staring
fine.
at each other.
And we're back!
All right, we're going to end with Rob's nerd war of the week.
All right, this one is like I said, last week's was requested. Well, like 2 weeks ago was requested. This is the next one that's been requested, and that is Marvel versus DC.
Marvel.
This is well established
Yeah,
already.
we've already done this.
I know,
one.
but we have to like talk about it a little bit.
Hold on a minute. I have something that's urgent to this. It's not Greenland. I'm not going to talk about this. Think on your answers for a minute. I want to tell this story because this is really quick and it's pertinent and it just happened recently.
I'm pertinent.
Have you guys heard of what happened in EVE Online recently?
Yes.
giant battle.
The giant battle.
A battle that cost 100,000 real world dollars.
It was more than that. The final
over
total-
$100,000 in damages that they
The final
did.
total was $250,000.
Do you know what started this? Have you heard this?
It was
I didn't-
something super silly.
Here's the long and short. I have this really long, detailed story, and I was kind of reading it so I could recap it. But the long and short of it were there are 3 main factions, 3 main group guilds that are all kind of associated and always kind of at war a little bit here and there. They were all kind of moving into this contested sector that they all really, really wanted. That one of them had just happened to capture. And when you capture a sector in that game, apparently you have to keep this little beacon refueled that says that your people own it. If it ever basically goes neutral or you lose it, all the ships that are in that area, even if their people aren't there, they lose them. So they had I think I read something like over 160. I think they were called Titans or whatever, like the biggest ship in the game there.
Yeah.
Parked. This coalition had them parked there where they thought they owned this contested area. Well, the guy who was in charge of refueling that beacon didn't. And because of that, it went contested. So they didn't lose their ships, but... because I guess there's a time frame on how long that can happen. But immediately the Russians, like they do, decided that this was prime time to push in on this spot and try to take it. And everyone pushed in. And I guess the battle raged on for a century. I started going into Ultimate Showdown.
Yeah.
But it took over, I guess, about, 2 solid weeks of fighting happened. Yeah. But the main battle was over 8 hours long. Where they said in the biggest battle that has ever happened in any online game
I saw an HD screenshot of it.
Before this, the biggest battle that had ever been fought in any game was also in EVE, and 3 Titans were lost. I think they're called Titans.
Yeah, that's the Titan class ships.
In this one, in just the first 8 hours, 60 of them were lost.
But to explain the monetary conversion, the way that game works is you can actually buy, kind of how they're going to do with WildStar. You can translate real money into game time into the economy.
But I thought it was real money into this resource that's required for building.
Essentially, but it's the same concept. Like you don't actually like buy things in real life with money into the game. You translate it into one thing, into another thing, into another thing that's actually part of the mechanics of the economy, and that's how they keep it as a fluctuating economy.
And it all got destroyed.
And long story short, technically lots of money was lost, but no tangible money was lost.
Yeah, and the main thing is you
can't
can't sell it.
There was no way to change out.
It was like that much money's worth of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars
It was
worth
about
of
a $250,000 was the
ships.
final
Yeah,
total.
it was a
And I
$250,000.
grossly overestimated. It lasted 18 hours total, the actual real battle in there.
So many people, like when you die in that game, if you die, you lose everything. You lose your
you
ship.
start back over.
And another interesting thing was there's so many people in that sector that Eve has this really cool
Like the analytics
thing.
things
Yeah, where it switches so that a second in our time is not a second in their time anymore. So the system has more time to get all the stuff done. So it basically automatically shifts to bullet time so that it can process everything and you won't get fucked over by lag and shit like that, which I think is pretty cool.
That game has a lot of interesting mechanics, but it wouldn't apply to a lot of other games.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful concept, and that's why the game works. It's still around.
Yeah.
But it just wouldn't translate well.
They said 90% of all of EVE players were involved in this battle.
Because so many people just logged in to go see it.
Yeah.
It became
they said that the 3 main factions that were warring are composed of 90% of all of EVE's population, and nearly 100% of those guilds were online fighting at the time. So that was, it was just absolutely insane. But even like the players who had lost everything came away from it going, that was one of the coolest experiences I'll ever have in my whole life.
Yeah, that's what everybody I've heard says. Like, this
nobody
is the
was
kind
like,
of things that,
shit, I lost it all. Everybody just walked away from it.
Yeah, it'll go down in internet history. This is big MMO.
That game
Can you imagine everyone going back to, Terry, you didn't refuel the beacon? Oh no. It's like, red alert.
That dude is going to be just ball busted forever.
He's the new fucking Leroy Jenkins.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
I imagine it being like for those who have seen the beginning of the first new Star Trek movie, where they come out of the warp and they're like, it's just instant chaos. They're like, what is happening?
I mean, they knew what they were getting into there.
I like to imagine that guy who was responsible for that came flying back through on some little the basic ship that you get after yours is blown up.
Jr.
He flies through the debris and everything. He's like, "You're welcome." Just flying past. All right, let's go back to our nerd Marvel.
So, since it seems like that's for the most part vetoed, I'm going to go to the next thing that was requested. Okay. Shout out to Mike on Facebook who gave me this idea. This is Deadpool versus Deathstroke. We have a Marvel character on one side and a DC on the other character. Slade Wilson versus Wade Wilson.
I mean,
that's interesting.
No, he was created as a parody.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, by Rob Liefeld of all people.
Deathstroke, Deadpool, where you swim and you do strokes.
Nice. I mean, I get the parallels and all that, but I just
Deadpool
the characters themselves. I would never equate in any way, shape, or form.
I think it's not it's not a fair comparison just because of the sheer power that Deadpool has.
Exactly, so, Deadpool wins.
Yeah, Deadpool would win probably pretty much for sure. Other than Deathstroke being almost autistic and how amazing he is in combat, so that's
okay. But which one do you like better?
Which one do I like better?
Yeah, Deadpool.
Well, we knew
Deadpool wins on the very end for me.
I think
it's Deadpool.
I don't really have. I guess it's got to be Deadpool just because Deathstroke isn't interesting enough. I think
he doesn't have the personality. I mean, unless we can use the Ron Perlman Deathstroke from the Teen Titans cartoon, I loved that version of him because it actually had more than just the comic. Did you watch the Teen Titans cartoon?
Not much.
I like the comic version of him.
I don't care for him.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of torn on it. I'm somewhere between the two of them. I'm leaning towards Deadpool, just because he's
more
funnier.
He's more entertaining.
He's absolutely more entertaining. Deathstroke, though, is very much an action movie star. It's kind of like what I was talking about.
That movie's going to be legit.
Because he's basically Blade with armor that is one of the best, combatants ever who can fight Batman to a standstill, which is... who's beaten Batman before, which is unheard of,
In the Teen Titans cartoon, he had a lot of crazy, convoluted plots, and he had hands woven in all kinds of... He was he was clearly a mastermind in the cartoon.
Yeah.
He engineered everything, and of course they needed a Lex Luthor for the Titans, essentially.
Yeah.
And I love that version of him. I would take that over Deadpool, because that was a very, very complex character.
Yeah.
I loved seeing Deathstroke fight all of the Justice League until Superman shows up in... it's in one of the Flash books, maybe? I think it is. I can't remember what it is. But he's fighting him on the doorstep of this building. I can't remember exactly how it goes down. But I remember he's single-handedly beating all of them really well. And Batman is kind of getting his bearings to get back. And he gets kind of... if I remember right, he gets kind of sucker punched in the beginning and doesn't really get to fight much.
That's the best way you're going to get rid of Batman.
Yeah.
And take him out soon.
I remember Deathstroke, he fucks Green Arrow up, incapacitates him pretty quick. Fucks up Hawkman. I can't remember how he does it all, but I remember Superman shows up and does the whole, enough! And it, stops, and he's like, God damn it! That guy's
so
here. Yeah, this is, so close. But, and I remember he swings at Superman, and he just stabs the blade, and it's like, sorry, it's time to stop now, pat him on the head.
And in the cartoon, he was experimental technology from aliens and everything.
He was Colonel Ty in the sense.
That was terrible.
That was so awful. I made him a crippled old man.
But
I can't lift the sword.
At least in Arrow, he's played by a badass.
Yeah. In the cartoon, he was an anti-Batman. He was the exact opposite of Batman in every way, and he wanted Robin as his own sidekick and everything. It was a great character.
Yeah.
It makes me want to watch the whole series.
Wrath is really cool in the Batman series. The guy who's anti-Batman.
Oh yeah, is he in there now?
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's existed before, but has the new 52 version come out?
He looks pretty cool.
What's he in?
Detective. Or I don't think it's Dark Knight.
Which is 17.
It's either Detective or just Solid Batman, and I can't remember which.
Not Solid Batman. I've read
or because that's
Solid
Zero.
Batman.
That's Zero year right now. Yeah. Anyway, I honestly don't remember, but the cover is half Wrath and half Batman, and it's pretty much the same costume. And they have the same origin. I think that's really cool.
Because DC's posted the cover on my Facebook wall.
I'm having an awesome Deadpool painting done for me
from the same chick that did that.
Yeah, Ashley Pridgeon. Shout out if you ever listened. She made me that awesome Dark Knight Returns painting, but she's getting married, and so she was doing cheap commissions. So I commissioned. It's going to be Deadpool as Willy Wonka, but everything's going to be made out of weapons instead of candy. Because I was just sitting there and I just thought about that. Then I was like, "Ooh, come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure annihilation."
Nice.
And instead of a river of chocolate, it'd be a river of blood. I was like, "The painting makes itself."
I should commission a painting of Deathstroke from her.
You should, absolutely.
Yeah.
You really like Deathstroke better than...
He's a pretty awesome
No, he likes Deadshot.
Oh, yeah.
I hate Deadshot because of that fucking episode. I'll never look at him the same way ever again.
I remember thinking that whole time. I thought if I remember right, I remember listening into it and thinking I'm the only one who caught it. And I was like, I would tell Rob about this privately later.
Yeah, I know, and then you texted me, and I was like, yeah, I know. If you listen really carefully, there's a moment when you show the picture, and I go, fuck.
Because I was listening, I was redoing the pod, and I listened back, and I went, there's that moment where Rob went, oh.
Yeah, I just realized, I was like, man, every time someone says Deadshot, I totally hear Deathstroke, and I don't know why.
I just chalked it up to my lack of knowledge of Deadshot, and I was like, maybe there's something I don't know.
He fought the Teen Titans.
Yeah, I was talking about, he fought the Teen Titans to the standstill. He could fight all the members of the Justice League at the same time. And then Logan kept looking at me like, are you sure? I don't remember that issue.
Because in my mind, I was like, Rob is the guy who worked at the comic book store. Maybe he's read a series that I haven't. But I was going, that's not
and I also want to go on record
all the time by himself.
I want to go on record as saying that working in the comic book store is also part of the reason why Deathstroke wins over Deadpool for me. Because
tell us why.
Well, for one, there's the whole the old school comic book fans are like, oh, fucking Deadpool's just a knockoff of Deadshot by that thief Rob Liefeld, blah blah blah. What did I say? Did I say Deadshot
again?
Fuck a duck twice. But But anyway, so the old school people would always be like really anti that, and I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of shitty. Rob Liefeld does suck, so I can agree with that. And then all the younger generation were like, Deadpool's the most original, most badass character that's ever been written on any comic book by anyone ever, and like we would sell out of it constantly when he came back, and like
then
everyone was freaking
he
out.
Is personality wise.
Yeah, and then there's the somewhere in the middle guy, the old school guy who's just like, yeah, fuck it, Deadpool's entertaining.
He's
Yeah, and that's
definitely
cool.
entertaining.
But I'm just saying,
point.
like the
Why do
more,
you like Deathstroke though? You still haven't given me a reason.
Oh, I just really like that style of character. Like in the Marvel universe,
So
if
badass.
you know of like Taskmaster, people that are like super
Yeah.
tacticians that can just like
That's a cool superpower.
yeah, to just go into any situation and almost like how Batman is, but not having to rely on the equipment aspect, just to know
Or
that
morals.
they could fight straight, and they could just like fisticuff their way out of any
You know
situation.
how Taskmaster works.
Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with that.
Taskmaster that has one of the coolest scenes ever too. There's one where like anything that he sees done, he can do. He can mimic it perfectly.
Muscle memory.
And he watches Bruce Lee and fast forward, and then he's able to move like super fast to fight, but it's causing like irreparable damage to his muscles because his body's not designed to go that fast. So he's like ripping his muscles apart, fighting like Bruce Lee and super fast forward.
In the
And it's
the
like, that
Marvel
kind of
game
shit is really
that just
cool.
came out not too long ago. The one that's like Diablo that me and Steve played for
Oh,
a
yeah,
while last
yeah.
summer. I can't. What's it called?
Marvel
Marvel
Legend,
Heroes.
the Marvel Heroes.
Yeah, he's one of the first little bad guys you fight, and he has like a training academy that's like cutscenes of him like teaching you how to fight in videos and stuff. That's the only reason I know that
And
character.
also, he has a really, really cool, to go back,
To Deathstroke.
yeah, I'm not going to say his name anymore for the rest of the
It's for the
podcast.
best.
To DS.
Yeah, he has a really, really cool costume, like so much so that I bought
I do like his costume.
the action figures. Every time I see that they've done an action figure, I buy it just
Has he
because it's such cool colors.
Always been like the orange and blue like checker.
Yeah, and but it's like he has like blue chainmail looking stuff, almost
Yeah,
like
yeah.
how Aquaman has
Doesn't
his
it like isn't
like
part of
scale
it chain,
mail
part of
kinda,
it
or Captain
scale,
America.
or am I crazy?
It's cool.
Holy
Scale mail,
fuck!
too.
You know what I just realized? I love Aquaman. I love Captain America, and I love him. So I think I just have a thing for like the chainmail, scale mail kind
God,
of
thank
things.
God they don't wear vests.
I know if they had vests, like I would not ever read anybody else's books.
That's why you read All Star Western, isn't it? All the
So many
best.
vests.
all the vests and mustaches.
Is Han Solo your favorite?
Yeah, he is my favorite. He's the best.
Why is that even a question? Why did that happen?
If he had a mustache,
All right, let's chalk it up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Boba Fett should have a vest. That's how we end
That's
this.
how we end this one.
That's how we end
Good
this
night,
podcast.
folks.
All right, as always, I'm Captain Rob.
I'm Billy.
I'm the Podmeister Logan.
I'm Steve of the Boat.
King of the Beef Broth. I always like to
Title
finish it
is
for
so
you.
long. You need to.
I'm the Lamb of Head.
What was the anagram?